Good evening. Tempers flared at Universal Studios tonight when the park ran out of its signature drink, butterbeer. What started as disappointment soon grew into a noisy confrontation with security and police.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. It's Christmas. Yeah. Sleigh bells ring. It's Christmas. Gift in my hand. It's Christmas. Grab a quick more Christmas. Light up the block. It's Christmas. Yeah.
Yo! Move! Back up! Oh my God! It's hitting the monorail!
Get ready to blast beyond your imagination at the all-new Epic Universe theme park.
It's the adventure of every world in one place.
Thrill through twisting coasters, journey through cosmic frontiers, and end your night under dazzling...
Buckle up, time travelers. Blast through the past, rocket to the future, and hang on tight as you chase the clock in the ultimate adventure. It's fast, it's furious, and it's only at Universal Studios Orlando. Back to the...
Hello, neighbor. Welcome to the Capture the Magic channel. I'm so glad you found your way here. I've heard that the host, Jared, is a very handsome and charming guy. And you know something? I think you'll enjoy listening to him a whole lot.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. We're a little late getting started. My apologies. We were recording our podcast, and then the kids got home, and I looked up, and it was like 8:35, and I was like, oh, I have to live stream. So I made it as quick as I could. So apologies for being a little late, but hopefully everybody's having a great evening, and it is Wednesday, correct, guys? Yes.
It is. Yes, it is.
Wednesday.
It is hump day.
I know what days of the week there are, I think, anyways. But yeah, we're going to have a good time. We got some stuff, very interesting stuff to go over today. We're going to talk about Comcast is might be getting some help on looking to buy Warner Brothers, and that whole thing's getting very interesting. And then we're also going to look at Mario Galaxy trailer and how that could have some theme park implications. And I also think there's a new ride system that is basically tailor-made for potentially Back to the Future. Like I saw it, and I'm like, this almost looks like it was made for it. And so there are the rumors out there about it could be coming to the park. So we're going to take a look at that. And then I'm sure there's other shenanigans that will happen during the live stream. But I am joined by some great gentlemen here. As always, we have Orange Grove 55, and he just hit 10K. So congrats, OG, on hitting 10K subs.
Thank you so much, Jared. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, 10K. It's crazy. It is really, really crazy. Started OG55 back in 2016. You know, I was flying solo back then, and it's been cool meeting all you great people like along the way, and you know, just it's been awesome. So 10K, yeah, it's a wild ride, just like Mr. Toad. But I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you everybody for joining us today, and you can find me right here on YouTube if you're watching on Capture the Magic channel. You can find me on YouTube, Orange Grove 55.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you started about the same time we started our podcast, because we didn't start doing YouTube really until it was like off and on vlogging and then other stuff. But yeah, it's when you look back and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's been since that long ago. But yeah, I was like, I remember it was right around my daughter was born, and then we started the podcast. She was like 6 months old, I think. So it was around 2016. So
well, and it's crazy too, because like this YouTube stuff is a lot of work, but it's fun work. So it's like the time really flies, and you don't even realize it. You know,
when you're on the internet, time flies. Like, I swear part of it is when you get older, but I mean, I swear being on the internet just makes everything all of a sudden, like, I don't really know how it is November. Like, in my head, I'm just like, I swear it was just April. And now it's all of a sudden like almost Christmas time. It's kind of crazy, but I don't know. Time warps are weird. But we're also joined today, I think the first time on this channel, is Mr. Webba. Mr. Webba, thank you for being here. Where everybody can, where can they find you on the online sphere?
Absolutely, Jared. Thank you so much for having me on today's show. I'm super excited to talk theme parks with you guys, and congrats to OG55 for his 10K subs. That is awesome. You can find me on all social media platforms at Mr. Webba91. You can also find me on Orange Grove 55.
There he is.
Sure, there we go. All right. Well, let's talk about well, first let me say hi to the chat. I apologize to the chat. They've been here for a while. So we've got I'm gonna go to the top. We Keegan Luca, we got Jacob Weller, we got Remy D. What's up, Remy? We got Deborah Andrew, we got Vinton Solars. What's up, Vinton? We've got a lot of people are waiting. My apologies on the waiting. I apologize deeply. And we got Mr. Seymour Duck joining us from the pond up in Canada. Giant Pad Ventures. I know I got that right, I think. reading is not my strong suit sometimes on here. James All Day TV, Todd Scribbs, Falco Shimmer Flare with a cool name there, and Robert Polk. So thank you guys for being here and contributing, and then we'll try and keep up with the chat when we're in these topics here. But first one, I'm going to share my screen, and it's kind of twofold on this. So the first one is, everybody knows Warner Brothers is up for sale. There's been bids by Paramount officially that have been turned down, but you have Netflix and Comcast looking at this. This is from Variety, but apparently Warner Brothers Discovery says bids are due this week when it comes to making an official bid for Warner Brothers. So you do have a timeline that has been put on this, as I don't believe until now there really was a timeline put on this, as far as I know. And then on top of that, what gets really interesting is we've talked about before about Comcast being in the running for, getting Warner Brothers, and how initially I didn't think it was likely they would do it, but we've talked about how things seem to be shaping it where they might be. But another wrinkle to this is Comcast CEO Brian Roberts travels to Saudi Arabia, and as he explores a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. So basically in here, they talk about how Brian Roberts went over there, had a meeting with their investment fund that they have over there, which is valued into the trillions. So money is not a problem for them. And they also talk about, they're doing the spinoff stuff and how Brian Roberts has met with David Zaslav, and how all this is basically looking to set up where Comcast is going to make an official bid here. So it seems like, and we don't know what role it could be, but Saudi Arabia money could be playing a role into this and bankrolling essentially maybe where Comcast, there's been questions about their debt load and the other, how big they are, but it seems like they may be making a move here to do this. What do you guys think about Saudi Arabia being involved, or what do you think about Comcast's chances in this?
It's crazy that Saudi would be involved, but then again, maybe not so crazy, because I know a Saudi prince owned like majority stake in Disneyland Paris for many, many years. It wasn't until recently that Disney bought the majority share. I think now they fully own it, like 100%, I believe. But for years and years, a Saudi prince owned that Paris Disneyland resort. So, I mean, it's not like unheard of. It's not completely unprecedented. It would also really help Comcast, because we've talked about it a lot on this channel, as well as my channel, Orange Girl 55, about how Comcast has a huge debt load right now. And if they can get the Saudis involved, and they can kind of alleviate some of that, it could help. It could help out a lot. Plus, I think there was talks. I don't know if it was Puck, Matt Bellani, who was saying how, I guess that they were exploring, like Comcast was exploring maybe a theme park out there in that region. So that might be part of the kind of the sweetening the deal sort of situation there, So there's a lot going on here. I made no bones about it. I hope Comcast gets it. I am all in on this. I really hope they get it. I think it would be an amazing look. I've said it for a long time. Universal, one of the biggest weaknesses Universal has right now is a lack of in-house strong IP. They don't have a whole lot of them. I get it. You got Jurassic Park, you got Fast and Furious, but they don't have a whole lot. They don't have like what Disney has, right? Or what Warner Brothers has. If they were to acquire Warner Brothers, they would inherit the biggest IP library that completely rivals Disney. Between the Looney Tunes, the Hanna-Barbera stuff, the Harry Potter stuff, the DC stuff, it would instantly elevate Universal's in-house IP game. What they can do on the content end is really, sky's the limit. But even with the theme park stuff, I mean, we talked about it. I think with Theme Park Wizard said, can you imagine Arkham Asylum at HHN? Some crazy stuff like that. Could you imagine, dude, it'd be sick. Can you imagine a fully realized Gotham City on par with what you see with like Wizarding World? Dude, Universal could do amazing stuff, and that's why I'm really hoping Brian come through, baby. Come on, let's do this, But I'm hoping for it. We'll see. Paramount though, the Ellisons got a lot of money. They got deep pockets, and they might grab it. So it's really, I think, really between Paramount and WB though. I don't see Netflix, but you never know.
Yeah, Netflix also has bankers involved, and Comcast does as well. There was a report that Paramount and the Ellisons had also met with Saudis, but apparently Paramount actually said that wasn't true. So at first, I'm not going to doubt that there's been multiple parties that have approached the Saudis and been like, "Hey, Like, let's work out a deal because of all the money that they have. I agree with you. I would love to see Comcast get it. I think if you're looking at Warner Brothers of trying to find a good spot for, if you're thinking of these things as your baby and where do they go for a good home, I think Comcast makes a lot of sense. And I think Comcast, initially, they didn't make a lot of noise about this when it first, Warner Brothers is up for sale. But the longer this has gone on, I've definitely got the indication that like they're trying to jump at this opportunity for one reason, protecting what they have in the theme parks with Harry Potter. And I think there's a lot of worry potentially of those rights being somehow messed up in a sale of Warner Brothers and things of that nature. But also, it's not every day that Warner Brothers goes up for sale. And I think we talked in the last live stream, if Comcast were to get Warner Brothers, that would worry Disney. And not only in the theme parks, but you're talking like that would help them on the streaming side. Like there's tons of things, but the questions we've always had the whole time is their debt load, their size. And Mike Calvin on their earnings call basically said the size and the debt load he doesn't think is a worry because they're doing that spinoff. And essentially, I'm thinking with the Saudis, what they would likely do is they might sell that spinoff company to the Saudis, and maybe they would get some of those linear assets, have some cash flow come in. So if it becomes a bidding war for this, if they have Saudi money backing them, I think that they'll probably end up winning because the Saudis have so much money. Now, I think I did hear that as well about the theme park in the Middle East. That could be a quid pro quo. Like, hey, you help us with this, we'll put a theme park in the Middle East because Disney's going to have one there too. So this is all shaping pretty interesting. But Webba, what do you think about this?
Yeah, what's funny is I was watching John Campia earlier today about this. And it wasn't like that Paramount, they were looking to put up $71 billion for this, which is an insane amount of money.
Yeah, they've made like 3 offers, and I think one of them was like 71 billion, but that got turned down.
Yeah, which is crazy to me because you think about when Disney bought Fox, and it's like how much money they spent for that. Now, are we back again in the same cycle, but now with different companies? Like, is like, are they going to overspend? Whoever buys them, are they going to overspend on Warner Brothers? That's my question.
Probably, considering this price point is about what 20th Century Fox was, about 74 billion, and Iger overspent for that because Comcast made them up their bid because I think they were initially going to buy it for like 50-ish billion. Excuse me, I get my billions and billions mixed up. The billions for 54, and then the Comcast came in and bumped it up to 75. So I mean, you're talking $75 billion for something. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to assume you're going to overpay for this on some level, and does it work out in the long run? Like, I don't know. But if this is the cost to get it, I suppose they're just sitting there thinking, well, this is the cost to get it. And, that's go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I actually was going to say too, it also depends on who's buying it, right? So Paramount does have theme park presence because I know they license out SpongeBob and they have all kinds of stuff, right? But like their theme park presence is very limited compared to that of like Comcast, Universal. Like Universal is like the big dog, So Comcast could, if they, let's say for example, hypothetically, Comcast spends $70 billion to acquire Warner Brothers. Is it overspending? Yes, but they can leverage that purchase through many more avenues than I think Paramount could. Right. You know what I'm saying? They have a bigger theme park market. There's rumors they might even get into the cruise lines eventually. So I feel like, it would be a big price tag, but they would probably make that back faster than a Paramount would because Paramount is so just content driven. But like Comcast has like such a big theme park apparatus where that whole situation would I mean, that alone would make a massive amount of money back for Universal. So I don't know. It just kind of depends.
Yeah, and also too, it would help with their streaming as well, right? Because if they got all that library of IP, now you have, was it Peacock Universal has, right? Now you get HBO Max. So then you would get all that great library of IP. But so then I'm thinking, okay, would they combine it and call it like Peacock Max or HBO Peacock or, like
I mean, I don't think Peacock is a good streaming name anyways. Like when they came out with that, I was like, that just doesn't sound right anyways.
Are we allowed to say Peacock on YouTube? Or are we going to get demonetized?
I don't know. Maybe we might. There's another way you could say that probably would get demonetized.
Absolutely.
That was the original tagline that they got rid of. No, I mean, I think it makes sense from Comcast from the streaming side because like Peacock struggles, and it has been. They lost WWE, and they don't really have anything there that's really, a must-need thing to go watch. I mean, Paramount, I've always felt has been an underrated streamer with a lot of the Taylor Sheridan stuff that's on there, like Landman and Tulsa King and those shows. Like, it's pretty decent content, but it just always does decent. Even Mobland was a really good one, Pierce Brosnan and Tom Hardy. So it would definitely help on the streaming side. The movie side, I suppose, there's some questions about handling the WB, IPs, but I think they're established enough studio to handle. But I think the main thing, if you're thinking like in the theme park realm, is all the potential it opens up with that if they were to get it. Because, and we talked about it last time, but Marvel Superhero Island isn't going to go anywhere unless Disney pays a boatload or they have something better they think they can put in there that won't, like, that would be a better thing. It would overcome whatever, giving those theme park rights back to Disney would have. If they were able to get Warner Brothers, I don't think it's a stretch to say they could go get those rights from Six Flags for DC, considering Six Flags is closing a bunch of parks and they're also in financial issues. So I don't think it'd be a big stretch to say they go buy them, those theme park rights. And then if you were able to get DC into the theme parks, I think that is a scenario where you could see them let go or a discounted price, whatever, to the Disney gets the Marvel rights and they bring in DC into Islands of Adventure, which, I mean, like you talk about, like Gotham City, like all the cool things, like Arkham Asylum, like all the things you could do with a DC land. I think I would love to see them like just have full control. And like they would also have full control of the movie side too if they wanted to reset it or what. And there's rumors out there about Zack Snyder coming back for the Snyderverse and all. Who knows? But I think the potential of what you could do. And you talk about before with the Looney Tunes, you got Toon Lagoon right there. Like there's so many things you could do with all those IPs that I think you could make an argument if they're overpaying for Warner Brothers, you could make it back on the theme park side rather quickly. Also considering where Comcast is heading as a company, which is much more theme park driven.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And in the theme park realm, we've talked about it before, but not everyone watches every episode. So I like to kind of reiterate sometimes. In terms of Universal Studios Hollywood, we are within visual eye shot of the Warner Brothers lot. Like you can literally see it from Universal Studios. A lot of the issues with expansion at Universal Studios Hollywood is a lot of these big sound stages, which is cool. I mean, I get it. Like, dude, my favorite thing about Universal Hollywood is the tram tour. It's magical. It really is, right? I love it. It's my favorite thing. But that is one of the big hindrances when it comes to the theme park expansions, though. Well, if you buy Warner Brothers, you could theoretically offload a lot of that soundstage stuff to Warner Brothers down the street and open up a lot more theme park space. Not get rid of Tram Tour, not get rid of that movie magic stuff that Universal is well known for. But you can definitely kind of move things around a little bit easier. That would be massive for Universal. Also, it would open up a huge amount of potential for just everything. I mean, you would have the licensing rights for Harry Potter. Universal would save money on that too. We talk about that would be, we have to also understand the price tag they pay for Warner Brothers. Well, a lot of the stuff they're saving money also by acquiring them. Like they're not going to have to pay Warner Brothers a licensing fee anymore to have that stuff in their theme parks. So that's money in Comcast pocket. So, and then all this other stuff like Scooby-Doo, which is licensed out again, they wouldn't have to pay for that. But all the tie-ins they can do with that stuff, man, like with HHN or like FanFest, it's just endless. It is this would be, if they acquire the WB library, this would be a game changer like we haven't seen before in Hollywood. I'm telling you right now, this is bigger than the Pixar deal. This is bigger than Lucasfilm when Disney bought Lucasfilm. In my opinion, I think this changes like everything, man. I mean, this is crazy. And here's the thing, I do want to bring this up because our good friend Jay Shear, he's in Florida right now, so he can't join us today. But he did bring up a good point, and I want to kind of address this to you guys and kind of pick your brains on this. He did say that Universal kind of has an issue, like they make very kind of like summary, superficially kind of movies. Mm-hmm. Can they handle the Lord of the Rings kind of IPs? What do you guys think about that? Because they do. I mean, a lot of their stuff is very like summary kind of stuff, but can they do the deeper stuff?
Well, I don't think Warner Brothers today can do that stuff. I mean, let's be honest. Hollywood in general has not been making bangers a lot lately.
Yeah,
That's true.
So yeah, Lord of the Rings is the greatest trilogy ever, but modern day Warner Brothers, like they couldn't pull that off. I don't know if any studio has the I don't know what you would call it, the creative intellect to do it, to allow somebody like Peter Jackson to have that much control over something. So I mean, to me, I think Hollywood is such in a rut that it's hard to argue. Like if Warner Brothers was making masterpieces, that might be a bigger issue. But considering even like Superman this summer, it didn't do very well. I think I actually saw a report where it actually lost money. I didn't think it was very good. They've been doing better at the box office than anybody else lately, but box office as a whole, this is why Warner Brothers is up for sale, because Hollywood is just going to continue to buy. I mean, they're shrinking because the market's shrinking. So whether or not they are or not, it's kind of a situation where it's like, well, no, you're not making money. You're not making good stuff anyway. So at least have some fresh blood come in to give it a try. I mean, to me, it's not as much of a worry, but I do understand where Jay's coming from. But
100%.
yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, because I see it as you look at the past few years, right? Especially ever since COVID, like Hollywood in general, right? From all these studios, they're having some hits, but then a lot of duds, a lot of meh stuff, right? I mean, like a lot of the Jurassic World stuff that coming out got worse. At least in my opinion, it got worse with each movie. Fast and Furious, they're just a bunch of explosions and kind of action fest movies. They make money, right? But they're not really like a pop cultural moving thing, right? And so I think a lot of these movies and these studios are missing the mark on the studio side of things. Even with stuff like with animation, right? With Disney, right? A lot of their animated stuff hasn't been really hitting. It hasn't been really good, right? Marvel, Star Wars, that stuff hasn't been hitting either. So it's not just Universal. So really, any company you look at to come to buy Warner Brothers, it's really a gamble. Like you don't know. Like we don't know what's gonna come out of this on the studio side. That's why I'm so for the theme park side. Yes, I'm a theme park enthusiast, but I see the potential with Universal and Comcast having Warner Brothers here. So
Paramount's interesting because the Ellisons are you're not like when you look at Paramount, it's not like historical Paramount. Like the Ellisons bought it. They're very aggressive right now, and they have tons of money as well. You talk about Saudi money. Ellisons have a ton of it as well. So there very well couldn't have been a bidding war. But like there's question marks around Paramount because nobody knows, like it's an unproven commodity with them in charge. So I do wonder from Warner Brothers perspective, like are they open to selling it to Paramount? Or like we were talking about last time, it seems like a lot of this stuff's lining up where like Warner Brothers and Comcast are both doing these spinoff companies to get rid of some debt, to make Warner Brothers more easily purchasable. And then also Comcast potentially much more lining up to make a purchase. And I would just add, and it's been noted in other publications, I think the Trump administration has favored Paramount in this, but Brian Roberts has been trying to I think he donated to have the ballroom redone, and the Trump administration is friendly with the Saudis. So not only do you get Saudi money, you might actually kind of cozy up to them to kind of maybe grease the wheels a bit to get something like this approved is also the other caveat to that. Because even if Warner Brothers accepts Comcast's bid or even Paramount's bid, there's no guarantee that this actually gets approved either. It is going to have to go through some sort of approval. So I think seeing Comcast the way Kavanaugh's talking about spinning off that debt, and maybe that debt is the Saudis take the debt and they take the linear assets and they just leave them with their new core business essentially, which I think they want to shed that linear stuff as quickly as they can because it's just melting. So I think if Comcast is able to make this move, and we've talked about before, they're pivoting to become a theme park company due to the linear assets and their traditional business just falling off a cliff. And so the quicker they can do that, this would essentially, not to take from Disney, like supercharge that end of things. If you've got the Saudis able to help you out on that end where it doesn't drain your company as a whole, because that would be a worry from an investor standpoint, that's a pretty good position to be in if you're Comcast, if you're confident in your theme parks. And I think that they are. That could really, if they're able to get Warner Brothers, I think that would definitely signal that they are basically a theme park company and a movie studio and not as much as like broadband and linear.
No, 100%. Another thing too is you're right. It does feel like I feel like Zazie does want to sell to Comcast. Another move that, again, this is just OG putting his conspiracy hat on. But honestly, I think the whole co-CEO move that Comcast recently made, where it's Brian Roberts and Mike Kavanaugh, I think even that was a preemptive move for the Warner Brothers acquisition, because you're going to have a much bigger Comcast if you do acquire Warner Brothers. So there's a case to be made here that you might need two CEOs. I mean, they're talking even Disney should have two CEOs. You know what I'm saying? So that whole Mike Cavanaugh move might have been a play and a preemptive move for the WB acquisition. And it might not have been. I mean, Jared, you had a great theory on that too, where Disney's looking for a CEO. Hey, they might have been trying to smooth Kavanaugh, and Brian was like, "You're not taking my boy. You're not taking my boy. He's going to be co-CEO with me." You know, that might have been it too. You know,
it's possible. I mean, what was interesting is Kavanaugh got named co-CEO, and it really kind of like nobody really talked about it. It was just like a byline in an article. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And who knows? I mean, I feel like we're watching an episode of Succession play out in real time, where you just have billionaires wanting more toys, and it's like they look in their toy chest and like, oh no, I know the Saudis. Let's go talk to the Saudis. Like, I mean, that'd be a nice thing to be able to go over there and just, hey guys, can I have some money? So like, I feel like we're just watching this play out in real time. But I agree with you from the outside looking in. I do get the feeling that Warner Brothers would be more comfortable selling to Comcast. I don't know Zaslav and Brian Roberts' history. I don't know if they have one or not. But I do wonder about, like, I feel like Netflix is in the mix, but I feel like they're not a favorite just because who knows what they would do with those assets. Like, they're not a traditional movie studio either. So if your worries about Universal are there and Comcast, I think they're even more about Netflix and what they would do. And then, but that's the thing. There's questions all around. Paramount as well. Again, they're not proven with this new ownership. So no studio out there, I don't think, is you look at that and say like, oh, this movie studio is the most stable thing in the world. They all have question marks around them. But I think from Comcast Universal's animation side with Illumination, that's a very strong thing for Looney Tunes potentially. I mean, they could definitely revamp Looney Tunes and some other properties that they have. And then, I think when it comes to this movie side, I mean, people have talked about how that could reunite because I think doesn't Christopher Nolan have a deal with Universal?
Yeah, he does. Last time, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think he still does.
Yeah, so that would reunite him with Warner Brothers, who he used to do stuff with. So that would open. I mean, if you've got Christopher Nolan on your team, I mean, I think that's a pretty good. You could get some good directors and creatives involved. So I don't know. I feel like Comcast would be a good landing spot for it. And obviously, I'm biased because I think the theme park side would be incredible.
Yeah. Well also.
Oh, go ahead, Webba. Sorry, brother.
Oh, sorry, OG. I was gonna say also, I think too that the theme parks right now are in a very hot spot and they're on the up and up. I mean, we just saw that at Disneyland. Their numbers were just below Magic Kingdom's, the #1 vacation destination, right? And of course, Universal's on there too. But it's like people love the theme parks. They love going to like another world, right? Being immersed in storytelling, theming, and atmosphere and characters, right? People want to live or not live, but go to these worlds that they've seen on screen before, right? Like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, right? So on and so forth. And I think that right now, where the studios, whether it's like Universal, Disney, whatever, they're not doing so hot in Hollywood, but the experiences part of it, like that guests are loving, is going up and up and up. So if I was Brian Roberts, right, I would be wanting to purchase Warner Brothers for the theme parks, right? Get that DC, get the Looney Tunes. Even like a Wicked. I don't know if you saw it, Jared, but Wicked, I thought the first movie was really good. I would love to see a like realized Emerald City at Universal. That would be dope.
Well, Mark Woodbury has talked about doing that. I have not seen Wicked. I loathe musicals, so I know it's not for me. I've heard it's good. I know it has its audience, and I think Wicked will come into the theme parks at some point. I don't know if it's going to be a whole land, but Mark Woodbury has teased that out before, and I think that's likely something they would do. But you have a good point, because if I'm Comcast making a bid for this, and you can say, okay, yeah, sure, Paramount can get it, and they'll do this and this with it. But if you care about these properties, they can live on in a bigger impact in our theme parks. And then you start showing them all the stuff you're doing on the theme park side. And here's what we can do in the movies, and obviously with the streaming aspect. But like the theme parks are going to continue to be a big impact. And so if you're looking to sell something and you care about the legacy of Warner Brothers, I mean, again, Comcast has a leg up with that, because Paramount has some kind of a theme park presence, but they're not going to open up a theme park in Orlando that's going to be doing any of that stuff. So I think that does get them a leg up if Warner Brothers cares. It depends on, do they just want the most money or do they care about where it goes? And I suppose that's just something we won't know until they sell.
Well, another thing to think about too is back when Jared, back when we were kids, you know, Warner Brothers had a massive presence in the pop culture, space, right? Like when we came home from school, it was either Warner Brothers Animation or Disney, right? I mean, those were the two giants.
Mhm.
But a big part of the Warner Brothers dynamic was Steven Spielberg. Like he was part of Animaniacs and Tiny Toons and all that stuff. You acquire Warner Brothers, he's back in that WB fold again.
Yeah.
Which I freaking love. I mean, personally, I don't think Spielberg misses. That guy is a genius, in my opinion, and I think his stuff is amazing. To have him at the table, because he's heavily involved with Universal. But if Warner Brothers comes over, I mean, he's now by default, he's at the table now for all the Warner Brothers stuff again. It's like, dude, that's amazing, So we'll kind of see. Jared, I do want to ask you, kind of off topic, but I kind of agree with you on musicals. Now, for some reason, musicals seem less cheesy in animation, though. It seems more natural. But in live action, they feel more cringe. Is that kind of where you're at, or just across the board?
That's where I'm at, because I can't, like, all movies have that suspension of disbelief. And I loathe being sang to. Like, when you're like, oh, we can go to this nice restaurant and they'll serenade you. I'm like, I'm not going because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, when I'm sitting there enjoying a meal and some guy comes up playing a guitar, am I supposed to stare at him in his eyes and just, or am I supposed to ignore him? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And therefore, when you're talking about musicals, like if I'm having a conversation, you just start dancing and singing and be like, oh, geez, a lunatic. I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. So for me, it's just like, I don't enjoy them as a medium. Now, I will say The Greatest Showman was actually pretty decent.
Okay.
It had pretty good music. But as a whole, like, I agree. Animation, you already have that suspension of disbelief because it's a cartoon, so it's a little bit more natural. But yeah, when you're talking about live action and like there's just a normal scene and all of a sudden some guy breaks out in a song, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, this is I just can't get on board with it.
Although I will say I am on board with you guys. Like, I don't like musicals myself, which is why I didn't want to watch it in the first place. But I was like, you know what? I do like Wizard of Oz. I will go check it out. Right? Checked it out. And the songs in the movie are actually good. I like that the movie felt really fantastical, kind of like Harry Potter. The world building was really nice. I loved Emerald City. They looked really, really cool. And then at the end of the movie, it felt really like a cinematic masterpiece in a way. I was like, wow, that was really good. But that's just how I felt about it. Again, I don't like musicals, so I don't watch a lot of them. The only one I saw was like Grease a long time ago. So
yeah, Grease. I forgot about Grease. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good movie though. I do recommend it.
To be fair, I have heard it's good. My daughter and my wife like them, and they probably are good movies. It's just one of those where it's just not naturally a thing I'm into. But even with that, like, even though I'm not interested in Wicked, I get why they would want to put it in the theme parks. I mean, they own the property. It has its audience. Like, it could, an Emerald City could be a cool land to do. And again, if somebody's not into an IP, if they had really good attractions, that can overcome a lot of that stuff. So I think it'll probably make its way into the parks. I'm curious if it'd be a land or it would be like a show. Considering it's a Broadway show, you could do something like that. But I think it will make its way into the parks on some level.
I've always said, sorry, OG, I've always said that like an IP may not be popular or like on like the studio side, but if you can execute it really well into the theme park, people are gonna love it regardless.
Oh yeah, I'm that way with Pandora. I could care less about Avatar. Like, I've seen the movies, I'm just like, I don't know. But Pandora is great. Like, I go in there and I'm just like, hey, this is awesome. Even though I don't care at all about Avatar. So definitely, like, if you do something very well, that can overcome a lot of weaknesses, or just if somebody doesn't like an IP, they can still enjoy a theme park area.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. That happens to me all the time too. Like, I'm not a big Pixar Cars guy. I mean, it's okay, but I don't love the franchise. I'm not clamoring for another one. But the land at California Adventure is amazing. I love that land. It's like one of my favorite things that Imagineering has ever done. And then there's other things that I do like. I like Monsters Inc. as a movie, but then the ride over at California Adventure is kind of mid. I give it like a 6-7. I don't know. No, no, but no, in all seriousness though, it's kind of mid, so it's like, so yeah, I'm with you guys on that. Like, the theme park experience definitely separates from like what your thoughts are about the content. I mean, even if we're going to talk Universal, Waterworld, no one likes Waterworld, but the Stay Show at
The
Universal,
Kevin Costner classic.
a classic. but the stunt show is amazing over there, you know. So it's just
yeah.
If you execute in that theme park space, it doesn't even matter, you know.
Yeah. Well, first off, I would say my son would fight you about cars because that kid loves cars. Like he goes in these phases. And we were talking about like we need to take him out to the cars lane. I'm like, if we take him out there, we'll never get him to leave that land. Like he would never leave. That kid is obsessed with cars. Like he knows like every single, like he was watching Cars 2 and was wanting us to print out like, because he wants to color them all. And I'm like, I Cars 2, by the way, is nuts as a movie. I don't even remember Cars 2 or not. So Cars 1's like, you know, whatever it is. And then Cars 2 is like this espionage spy thriller with the whole conspiracy theory with oil. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then, so he would fight you about cars. But no, I agree. I mean, I think if you execute it well, you know, you can appeal to a broader audience than just the people that are into that IP for sure.
100%. Yeah. Now Tones, our friend Tones is in the chat. He says, I'm going to need to join y'all on the next discussion for this bid for Warner Brothers because I got some thoughts. Tones is really good with the Warner Brothers stuff, especially.
Yeah.
Big Game of Thrones guy. So he would be great to bring on the show.
But here's 100%. The problem. Tones thinks Steph Curry is the best ever. And I don't know if I can, I don't know. I feel torn on this now. No. I'm kind of kidding, but no, we can get. Yeah, remind me. Next time we'll get Tones on because I'm sure there'll be more on this undoubtedly, for sure. All right, let's catch up on some comments here. Thank you guys for being here. Mr. Seymour Ducks, or hold on, Brian said, "What's up, Brian?" Says I was told by a cast member that Disney may jump in not because they want Warner Brothers, but to make Universal pay more for Warner Brothers.
Disney would be so stupid to do that right now. They're in the middle of a succession race. They got so much stuff going on, and then just to do it to mess with Universal, I don't know. Like,
well, also Disney would never get it approved ever.
No.
So like even them jumping in, I don't think it would be a serious bid. But
too big.
No. And it would freak investors out and stuff. I that would be a terrible decision if they do that. That is horrible.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't see them doing it. I haven't heard any sort of like we were talking about before. I'm like, you're already trying to find a new CEO, and to throw in all this into it would just be. I don't think that would be a good move, but Mr. Seymour Duck, what's up? Mr. Seymour Duck says the strongest financially, I believe, is Netflix, low debt and strong cash flows. True, but Saudi money talks. They have so much money. I read something one time. They don't even really know how much money they have.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Trillions. Like they don't even put an actual amount on it because of how much money they have. I'm like, that's
it's just dollar signs. That's it.
I just imagine they check their bank account. They're like, oh. Okay, like how much? Like they could lose like $1 million and be like, I thought there was another million. Whatever, I don't know. Okay.
That's amazing, dude. I would love to have that problem. I must say that's a problem to have.
That is a problem to have. I mean, there's good problems and bad problems. And a good problem would be I can't keep track of how much money I have because it's so much. I think that's a good problem to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Tropical Days says HBO has some of the best shows and movies: Dark Knight, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Watchmen, Scooby-Doo, Inception. Yeah, I mean, HBO Max is a very solid streamer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I love the fact that he threw Scooby-Doo in there. That was sick. Succession, Inception, Game of Thrones, and Scooby-Doo. I love it. I love it.
I never was huge into Scooby-Doo, but I could see like if you revamp Scooby-Doo, maybe you can make that where it could work like in modern times more.
100%. That's where I have a lot of faith with Universal with this. The animation, you can really go nowhere but up. I mean, really. Yeah. I mean, Warner Brothers has been, and it's not just, to be fair to Zaslav, it's not just Zaslav. I mean, dating all the way back to 2000 when American Online bought Warner Brothers, the animation has been steadily downhill ever since for 25 plus years.
Yeah.
Universal has proven itself with DreamWorks and Illumination. A lot of stuff is not my thing. I'm not a Minions guy, but I'm not really the age group for it either. So to be fair, you know, but like they've been successful in the animation space, big time, Universal. And
for sure,
they'll do amazing stuff. I mean, look at Super Mario. They did great with that. I think if they were to acquire WB, the animation studio is in good hands.
Yeah. I think the animation is definitely a strong suit.
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense. Vegas Disney RTV says it would be the biggest deal ever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it could definitely be the biggest deal in terms of the price, because if it gets into a bidding war, this thing could go to $100 billion.
It's crazy.
Like if the Ellisons are that motivated, I mean,
Man.
If you got the Ellisons all their money and you have Saudi money backing you, I mean, who knows where this could go? Like that's the crazy part about it.
I think that's why Zaslav has been so smiley lately. You know, he's been happy. He's a happy
he's
guy.
probably gonna. Yeah, he's probably like, I'm gonna make a lot of coin here in the next like little bit. Yeah, he's gonna make out pretty well on that, I would say. I see the chat's arguing about Wicked a little bit. Listen, I agree. I don't care about Wicked, but I'm not gonna say it'll come into the theme parks, undoubtedly. Like,
well, now let me ask you this: what do you guys think? You think it'll go into IOA or Epic, though? What do you guys think?
that's a good question. Well, it depends on if they're going to keep the Islands of Adventure theme of everything being a book, which if from what I'm hearing, if Pokemon's going in there, that theme is not going to be held up as much and saying Lost Continent. I mean, Epic, it could get its own portal and that expansion pad they have for a whole land. That's a really good question. I don't know. I kind of feel like they wouldn't go into Epic. I feel like they would, but again, I don't know. Like, I'm obviously gonna be biased because I don't really like Wicked, but I mean, I don't know what they know internally about its appeal. But I mean, if you did a whole Emerald City as a whole, I mean, highly immersive, I have a hard time thinking that wouldn't go over well.
Right, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm trying to figure out what we could put over here on the West Coast, right? Because our park is so much smaller, and we only have one park. You know, we don't have 3 parks like you guys do, and
True.
we're on a bunch of hills and stuff. So, you know, I mean, of course, having Dark Universe or a bigger Super Nintendo world, right? Getting Wicked or whatnot, like that would all be cool stuff. But I would love to see like where is it going to go on this side, right? And I know that we're getting the hotel, whatnot, right? So improvements, which is good. Like to Odie's point, we have the whole tram tour, which is awesome. But is all that stuff going to get moved out later to make up space for more theme park? Then after you have that theme park space, Jared, where do you go from there? Right? Do you create another second theme park in California?
Yeah.
And if you do, where do you put it?
That's a good point.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I would do if I was Universal. Unless they sell that golf course for the 1%ers. There's a golf course that's like
It's
acres
huge,
upon
dude.
acres, like right next to Universal.
I know what you're talking about there. Yeah.
Yeah, but our good friend Theme Park Wizard said there's no chance. Like these people are not selling. So outside of that, I think the idea of like a multi-park resort in Hollywood is never going to happen. Like not like in the traditional sense of like how Disney does it, or even how Universal does it in Florida. I think the best bet is to do kind of what Disney did with that Cotino, that story living thing in Palm Springs. Go to Palm Springs or just some of the Santa Clarita or something, and just buy a bunch of land and build an epic Universal resort over there. And I mean, really out here in California, that's like your best bet for them because you're not going to find acreage in LA. You're not even going to find it in Orange County over by Disney. You're going to have to do like Santa Clarita or Palm Springs or one of these kind of these deserty, whatever. And it's Universal. Even if it's out there kind of in the middle of nowhere, it's still going to attract a ton of people.
They could build a high-speed train that goes out to it to connect them to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, have you seen the one that's in Japan that they just like recently tested?
No.
They were like reporters watching it go by, and dude, that thing went by like that, and they were like, "Holy crap!" Good God. Like Japan really is living in the future. I was just holy cow.
Yeah.
They are absolutely an advanced civilization. They are well beyond us. Go ahead, Webba. Sorry, brother.
No, you're not wrong, man. And I didn't hear an explosion after it went by, so I was like, well, I think it turned out pretty well. But yeah, they were all just like, holy cow. But yeah, that looked crazy. Tone says he's going to die on the hill that Steph Curry's better than Jordan.
Oh.
That's a wild take to take on the internet, Tones. That is a wild take. Listen, we can get NBA 2K, whatever they're on now. Send that out. I used to play that game all the time. I haven't played it in years. Let's see here. Tones also says a big problem if the Saudis buy it is the tariffs that come along with it, unless they do all the filming here. I don't think the Saudis owning it would. No, well, I say that. I don't know if they would make things be made over there necessarily. But potentially, yeah. I'm not going to act like I know the inner workings of how that would go, but
let me ask you guys a question, and not to get too much into politics or anything, but in general, do you think the Saudis having a stake in it would impact the content though? Like,
See, that's what's kind of my worry, right? Is that and again, I'm not saying like that they would do anything like mischievous on purpose, right, to try to mess anything up. I just don't know about any kind of third party like ownership or stakeholder like that like in other countries if they would try to be actively involved in messing with your IP or your creative talent or ideas, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I'm kind of like hesitant and worried about it. I mean, I hope not, right? But I'm just kind of like, is that a good idea? I mean, I know they have a lot of money, which is great, but how involved are they going to be in?
Yeah.
That's a big question. Now, Remy D, you're asking, would the U.S. approve the Saudis owning CNN? I believe they're spinning that stuff off, or they're good. Aren't they going to spin that off? No, I'm sorry, they're not. That's wait, are they? Yeah,
I
they are.
think
They're
they're
spinning it
spinning
off.
off all that into a. That's Warner Brothers. Wait, no,
Yeah, it's Warner.
Yeah, so they're spinning that off into its own. I forget what they're calling it, but they're also doing a spin-off for those linear stuff, except for Bravo, I think is what they said.
Wow,
Think
interesting.
I can't remember all the ones, but anyways, yeah, they're spinning that off. So I mean, all that linear stuff though is just slowly dying.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, holding on to it, it's and it's traditional television has lost its relevance in terms of even news stuff now. So I mean, a lot of them could hit that point. We talk about with Disney, like at what point would they just sell some of this stuff because it's just a melting iceberg. And at some point, it's like holding on to a 1995 Chevelle or whatever it is. It's like it's not going to go up in value. It's just at what point you're like, okay, finally sell it. Like I've done that with cars where even recently we had a Traverse that was just sitting there. And I was like, I never used the thing. I was like, might as well just sell it now because it's not going to go up in value. That's kind of what you have with linear TV. It's like it's an old car that you're just holding on to, hoping that it still gets mileage out of it. But at some point, you're just going to be like, okay, just sell it for what I can get it right now and move on.
No, 100%, Jared. We did a video with Mr. Seymour Duck recently, and we were talking about how it's a melting ice cube with like a flamethrower pointed out.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I think that the Saudi, them having, they probably, I'm going to assume they would have some sort of say in certain. It probably depends on how this whole thing would be set up if it does happen. You also saw the Saudis. I think they bought or were involved in the purchase of EA Sport or Electronic Arts as a whole.
Yes, right. I saw that.
So I mean, you're seeing them move in, and you got to think too. I think it's the guy that runs Saudi Arabia, bin Salamani. I think he's like very American in terms of like he went to American schools. Like he speaks almost without an accent when he talks. So he seems to be somebody that likes the American culture. So I suppose if you're talking about a foreign country being involved and somebody that seems to appreciate it is a good thing, but I'm not going to act like I know a lot about them, but just from the outside looking in. And I do think some of the questions there, I do think if the Saudis were involved, it probably would help it get approved if I were just looking at this from the outside looking in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now was the king, is it king over there? I think it's king. Or president of Saudi Arabia. Was he the guy that met with Trump recently? Because I saw something on the news where they were asking him questions, and he was really, I was impressed with his responses. Like he was quick. He was, that's not easy to kind of have the press come at you with a bunch of questions. They kind of do all this gotcha stuff, but he was he was handling himself really well. I mean, I don't know anything about him, but that little snapshot I saw, I was like, okay, he's handling it, So.
Yeah. No, I think that's the one he just met with. Yeah, I mean, he seems like I'm pretty sure he like went to college in America and stuff too. So he's like a very Americanized Saudi prince or king. I think he's a king. I don't know what they have over there, but yeah. Tone says, oh, hold on a second. Tone says, so question for you boys. What is your biggest fear with them selling Warner Brothers, if there is a fear at all? I mean, I suppose the fear would be, at least in my eyes, the potential of what you could do. Again, I'm going to go to theme parks. On the movie side, like, I would like to see Looney Tunes have a resurgence in some of those properties, like animation stuff. And honestly, I love DC, and I hate what Warner Brothers has done with DC. I hate it. Like, the Snyderverse had some good moments. I think that it had a lot of corporate overreach into it, trying to hurry it up to try and match the MCU. I would love to see a place that actually gives DC a really good spot. Like, I'm not a fan of what James Gunn. I like James Gunn movies sometimes, but I don't think he's a good head of a studio. And I don't think he's good for DC personally. Like, I was not a fan of the Superman movie that came out. So for me, I think it would be the loss of potential if it went to the wrong studio. Like if they also messed it up. And what I think Comcast could do again on the theme park side. So I think for me, it's more of what's a better potential of like good movies and shows and theme park stuff versus just sort of like it becoming just like everything else. It's just kind of melding into whatever like Paramount or Netflix is.
Yeah, and one of my big concerns too is I love the Warner Brothers studio and that whole brand. And one of my big concerns, Tones, is that brand would start to erode and kind of melt into whatever entity buys them.
Right.
Like I hope like if Comcast buys them or if Paramount buys them or if Netflix buys them, they maintain Warner Brothers as a strong brand, as its own brand. It doesn't just sort of like melt into like whatever company it bought them. Because I think Warner Brothers is a really special studio. And I want to see it, stand alone still. So hopefully we see some identity separation here. And it's just not like these studios buying it up. And then, like, for example, if Paramount were to buy Warner Brothers, and then they just kind of fold their Paramount animation with Warner Brothers, it gets all convoluted. I want to see a strong separation still as a Warner Brothers brand. Go ahead, Webba.
Well, Jay, I think that's where you saw the problem with Star Wars and Disney, right? I mean, again, you try to take a brand, an IP, and you try to change it up to your own flair, right? But the problem with doing that is that you already have people who are fans of it because of what it was when it came out, right? So you're trying to change it up into your own thing, people aren't going to like that because now you're making it into something now you're trying to make it into something that it's not. And so that's what happened with Star Wars, right? You got Star Wars, people love it, right? The OT trilogy, right? And of course, there are some fans of the prequels, right? But overall, the OT trilogy, right? And now it's become something that fans are not a fan of, and so you have to be careful. Whoever buys up Warner Brothers, right? You have to keep the integrity with the property, not just go, okay, well, I own it now, and I can do whatever I want with it. No, the integrity of what was there before has to kind of remain, right? I mean, of course, still continue on the stories and what have you, but I would say keep what was there, why fans became fans of that IP in the first place.
Yeah.
Well said.
Well, and I think that's where I'm curious if Warner Brothers has that worry about who they're selling it to. Like and we just don't know that. Like if they're just wanting the most money, or if they're just like, hey, what's your plan to do with these properties? And if that plays into the equation, I would be very curious about. Rogue Attraction says, didn't one of the crown princes convert to Catholicism? I don't know. That would be interesting. I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie. I don't keep up the Saudi princes very much, but Brian says if Universal gets Warner Brothers, I can see a 5 new Universal Studio Park. But Jared, since you don't count Volcano Bay, it would be our 4 park. LOL. Well, I would say not only me, Mark Woodbury as well refers to the 3 theme parks. So I'm just following the lead of Mark Woodbury. He also listen. I love Volcano Bay, but like I just think there's a difference between a great water park and a theme park. But Tone says he was the crowned prince. So is there a king over there still?
I guess not. I only hear about like the prince and stuff, but I wasn't sure. It was kind of weird. Yeah.
I don't know how that goes. Remedy says, I didn't like Snyder's style of visual directing and I hated Gunn's Superman. So I'd say reboot it all. Yeah, I think Snyder has visually, he's very good. And I think if you give Snyder, like Watchmen, the movie was fantastic, and it was almost a shot-for-shot remake from the graphic novel. It was, and 300 was good. I think if you give Snyder a script from somebody else, he can make it look great. I just don't think Zack Snyder is a very good storyteller on his own. I don't think he's a very good writer. So, but yeah, I mean, I would say they probably would end up rebooting it all because, like, are you going to get back, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck? I mean, maybe they could, but I don't know. That'd be a tough hill, I think, to do that if they did.
And another long and tough conversation that Warner Brothers is going to have, and Disney, to be honest with you, is how relevant or how necessary is the cinematic universe at this point? Like, do we want, like, I think Marvel had like lightning in a bottle when it came to everything up until Endgame. But even Marvel has really, the wheels have fallen off since then. DC has never had the wheels on the thing. Like they've been riding on the rails for the longest time. So I feel like this whole idea of like this, this cinematic connected universe thing is becoming a little outdated at this point. Like I kind of feel like maybe Warner Brothers should kind of ditch that and just kind of do standalones. Like not to say everything has to be like a one and done. You can maybe do like a trilogy like they did back in the day with like the Dark Knight trilogy, things like that. But not everything needs to be connected. I think people are kind of falling out of favor for that, especially since people are getting way more picky with how they do the theater going experience. Like people aren't just going to the theaters for every movie anymore,
Well, dude, the theater experience is a whole another issue on top of Hollywood nonsense, right? So you got the Hollywood nonsense with their bad movies. Then you have the movie theaters who are charging you an arm and a leg. Like, okay, if me and my wife go to the movies, right? It's about if we buy snacks, yes, we buy snacks there because it's part of the experience, right? Buy snacks and the drink, right? You're looking at about maybe spending at least $60 at least just for the two of us for tickets and for snacks and drinks, right?
Jeez.
And now if you have a family of 4 or 5 or whatever, you're gonna spend over $100 for like a couple hours, right?
Yeah.
And then you're spending that amount of money to watch maybe an okay movie, right? Now, do you want to go to the movies and spend that your hard-earned money for maybe an okay movie, or do you want to go to the movies knowing, hey, we're about to watch like an A+ movie, right? And then I'll spend my money on that. But a lot of these movies coming out of Hollywood, they're not good. They're okay. The movies is way too expensive. And it's just like the movie going experience plus with the whole thing too, Jared. I don't know if you've been to the theaters in a while, but you go to the movie theaters like here at Regal, you're watching 30 minutes, 35 minutes of previews, commercials, ads. It drives me crazy. Like
I know.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, like it's now I'm one of the ones where I may bring in something from the outside. That's how I was raised. Because even my daughter, we went to a movie not long ago. She's like, "Are we going to a gas station first?" I'm like, "Of course we are." I'm not. Of course we. I used to be the one. So back in the day, when I lived in Missouri, there's this movie theater, and like when I was in college, we would go to a movie, and I was like, "I'm gonna go buy Subway and get a sub sandwich." And like, "Are you gonna eat it before the movie?" I'm like, "No, I'm taking it to the movie theater." They're like, "You can't do that." I'm like, "I'm gonna walk right in because that 16-year-old's not gonna say a peep to me." And it would work every single time. They're just like, basically, like they don't care. Like I would kind of hide it off to the side, but it's like, yeah, I would eat like a sub sandwich in a movie theater. I'd have like a Starbucks. Like, yeah, I would just sit there and have a whole meal in there.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. You guys make great points, but and this is the problem with a lot of original animation. Not that there's not a lot of great original animated movies. There absolutely are. I loved Elemental, right? But it did kind of mid at the box office. But here's the thing. Like to your point, Webba, if I'm going to spend, if it's me and my girlfriend and let's say we have 2 kids or something, or me and my wife, we got 2 kids, you're spending $100 just to walk in the door. And that's before you even buy anything, like in terms of Coke and candy and all that stuff. Well, are you going to roll the dice on if this movie's good or not? Are you going to go roll the dice on Elio, or are you going to wait a month and then let your kid watch Elio on repeat when it's on Disney Plus, right? And save all that money. So it's a gamble. That's why you see Super Mario did well, because that's a franchise. Oh, mom and dad go, I know that. We'll see that. That's less risky. Inside Out 2. Oh, we saw the last one. That was good. Oh, that's less risky. But the new stuff is struggling because it's a risk. People don't want to spend $100 on what could be a mid movie. Go ahead, Webba.
Well, right, and then why would people do that when they can watch a movie in the comfort of their own home, right? Their own snacks, right? They have the whole family there, and they don't have to watch 35 minutes of previews, ads, or commercials about the theater, about Pepsi or Coke or whatever it is, about buying popcorn in your movie theater subscription, right? And the experience is just better. And you have, on top of that, you have the Hollywood. Okay, after like a month or 3 weeks, we're gonna put this movie on streaming. What's the point?
It goes there so quickly now. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, and not to mention home theater. I mean, you can go get I can go to Costco right now. There's 65-inch TV for like $350. You can get a really nice TV that's not that expensive anymore. So it's like you have to really make people want to leave your home to go watch a movie, and with the quality not being there and the convenience of your home, and also, I mean, economically, everything has gotten more expensive. So you're just like, why don't we just like I'll wait. And if you start that pipeline too of like you wait for things to come out, you get all these new releases when they hit you at home. You're just like, oh, that's cool. I'll see that in 3 months. And so you just have this string of movies you can see in the comfort of your own home and not have to go out and deal with all the stuff you have to deal with it. And I think that I really don't know. I think Hollywood there will always be a version of Hollywood. But I think the days in which you used to just go to the theater and be like, oh, let's go see a movie and just pick one. I think those are done. I mean, it's very much event driven. Like you have to go to watch it because you want to see this movie because people just aren't willing to spend, even if it's by yourself, $25 to take a shot on a movie. And you're just like, that could have been a whole month of 2 streaming services that you could have watched 10 movies on. You know, you start breaking it down that way.
Yeah. Now, Jared, you did mention things are getting more expensive. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm in California. It's so affordable out here. So I don't know.
Dude, you showed me your gas prices and I gasped. I'm not even paying it. I looked at it like our gas like is under like it's getting close to $2 a gallon now over here. And you showed me a picture of yours, and I was like, good Lord.
Oh yeah, there's like go ahead, OG, sorry.
Oh, it's like pushing $5 a gallon. Go ahead, Webba.
No, I have usually average gas price around me is about like 4 or something. Certain brands though will be like $5 a gallon for regular gas. So it's just like crazy. Like you watch your pumping your gas, and watch it go up $10, $10. You're like, oh my god.
I remember filling up. We had an SUV, and it was like when gas at its peak was. I remember it was 4 something here, and I watched that thing fill up, and oh my gosh, I was probably just yelling and screaming at the pump about just letting out my frustrations, just screaming at the sky. Damn you!
No.
Oh yeah.
Well, which is crazy because I see people here with like huge pickup trucks, and those need to have like gallons. Like my car probably has like. I think at most like 14 gallons probably, but you got pickup trucks that have like 20 something gallons. They're spending over $100 on gas alone.
Dude, I had a buddy back in the day had one of those Hummers, those H2 Hummers. It got 4 miles to the gallon. Like I didn't want to imagine the gas like when the gas at its peak, what that would have been. I was like, good Lord, that is like that thing would just guzzle gas. It was insane.
It's wild. What happened to Hummers? I remember back in the day, they were like the big thing having a Hummer, but
they're now electric. They have EV Hummers now.
Ooh, interesting. EV Hummers. Huh?
That's wild.
Yeah, that's I heard. Yeah, it kind of got played out pretty quick. Tone says when it comes to DC and James Gunn, even with that purchase, he's not going anywhere. You don't say that, Tones. Okay. At the very least, can we get James Gunn to just shut the hell up? Gosh, he just needs to shut up. Like, just put your phone away, make movies, and shut up. Because half the time he's lying. He'll be like, no, this thing wasn't in there, and it was. And you're just like, you're not helping anything. And he makes comments about like he said some comment about Batman's suit isn't that important. I'm like, are you high? Like, are you insane? Like, you're just wanting the comic book world to hate you right now. I'm like, oh my gosh. Just stop talking. That's what I think about most execs, though. Actors and executives are better when just seen, not heard, in my opinion.
A lot of times, and not just Gunn, but a lot of these guys and gals, they get in their own way. You know? It's like,
yeah.
I mean, they're brilliant. Like, I think James Gunn is a brilliant filmmaker. I really do. I love it. I love most of his work, but it's just like, yeah, you know, sometimes they kind of,
yeah,
it bugs.
Well, and on your point about the whole verse of things like the MCU, I do think that is fading out also, just because everyone tried to do their own version of the MCU, and even Marvel today, I don't think they can do an MCU like they did even back in its heyday. No. I think that was a one-time thing that worked out the way it did, and trying to replicate that, you might be able to have some sort of like the DC verse had like hit or miss stuff here and there. But like, you're just not going to be able to replicate that. Whereas I think if you did concentrate on, we're doing 3 Superman movies and that's your focus. And then we're doing 3 Batman, like whatever it is, like you can have them somewhat interconnected, but it doesn't have to be part of this greater universe necessarily, and focus on the movie quality. I think that's a better way to go than trying to have everything where you've got 9 different franchises all leading to this one big bad or whatever it is. I think audiences are kind of done with that on many ways, and I do wonder about even the MCU after Doomsday. Like, they're going to have to relaunch, And
Actually, sorry, Jared, to cut you off. I have a question for you guys, but I want to start with you. I want to start with you first, Jared. Do you
Okay.
think that we have? Do you think that we have a lack of visionaries in Hollywood right now, which is why we're seeing so many duds and non-imaginative, creative, or good storytelling movies and franchises?
I think there are still people that are creative. I think there's a lot more corporate involvement in when you're talking about like art form. Like even Iger is talking about, like he gives notes on movies. I think there's so much more of this controlling hand on stuff versus I feel like back in Spielberg's heyday, Spielberg was just left to make his own movie. Like even George Lucas was stuff. Like they gave them the freedom to maybe have a hit or maybe have a bomb, but they were allowed to have that sort of like creative freedom. And I think it's gone so much now where they're so risk averse. And by doing that, it's like everything has to be a safe bet. Well, if you're doing that, then you're not going to have these breakout hits because you're not taking chances on stuff. Yeah. And so I think as a whole, like you could argue there's less visionaries, but I think a lot of them, like there's still people there that have a vision that would want to do stuff. I mean, you talk to Jay Shear for 20 minutes and like that guy has a vision of what he would do. But like you have an executive with money and they're going to be like, well, our demographic, stats here and what we've seen here. You start throwing stats and trend and you're just like, okay. And then that gets involved in the whole process. And then I think that's just where it comes out as like a muddled mess because there's just too many cooks in the kitchen.
No, you're right. Yeah. And some of here's the thing. Yeah. A lot of these riskier movies, there's potential for them to fall even harder, but there's also the potential for them to soar beyond anything. Like a couple examples, Snow White. No one believed that movie was going to do well. Like people were laughing at Walt for even considering a full-length animated movie. And that thing changed not just Disney, but the entire film industry and birthed an entire industry with animation, like animated films, even movies like Roger Rabbit, like that was a massive risk in 1988. Like, can you imagine that? I mean, Jessica Rabbit herself, that character in and of herself is a risk. The way she was drawn, the whole thing. That movie was really risky, but again, it was a massive success and it changed the industry. I think you have to take risks, and especially companies like Disney, man. I mean, Disney is a risk-taking company. It was formed with that kind of that principle, and for me, I want Disney to take a lot of risk. And that's why all this live action remake stuff, man, not to say that, there's not a lot of great live action remakes. I like Jungle Book. I thought that was a great remake. I like Cinderella. I thought that was fantastic. But come on, by and large, I think they go way too overboard with it. It's a lack of creativity. I want to see Disney start taking risks again, man. I really do, and start swinging for those fences. That's what built this company. And you're only going to have major success, like cultural. How do I say this? Like cultural significant films, if you take those risks. Like for example, Frozen. That was a risky movie, but look what it did though. They took the risk, and look what it did. Yeah. Then, when you play it safe, it just doesn't hit the same, So
and also I think too, right, is that I want Disney to just do what Disney does best, right? And I've said it plenty of times. In my opinion, right, they've been very reactive instead of proactive. Now I know there are cases where a company can be reactive, right? Competition and whatnot. But if you're just being proactive and doing what you do best, in my opinion, your product is going to showcase that, and people are going to follow it.
Yeah. Well, look at Christopher Nolan movies. I mean, Oppenheimer making $1 billion, or I think it got close. I never thought that movie would like a biopic 3-hour movie. Like there's still got like I think you have a certain level of directors that have more sway. Like Christopher Nolan can kind of do what he wants to do at this point. But I think even Marvel, they talked about how they were essentially casting directors because they already had most of the movie worked out. And then you come in and direct 30 or 40% of the movie, we've got all this other stuff taken care of. So you do have way more corporate hands involved. And I think that's just where all this has led to. And I mean, I agree. I think risk taking is big companies are like, they don't want to take risk, but they want the rewards of taking risks without doing it. But on some level, you just have to. Like you have to, if you have a vision for something, if you believe in it, but I think that's part of the problem. And like I agree with you. Like I hate live action remakes. I hate them. I think Moana looks like a shot-for-shot remake of the cartoon. And I'm just like, that movie's 10 years old, and I'm like, we're already remaking these. Like, and the sequels and everything like that. I mean, there's some that are better than others, but I would much rather have original ideas and things trying to not just play off of like nostalgia or just novelty of like, hey, let's make it live action and see what it does. I just think it's kind of a symptom of kind of where Hollywood is right now.
No, you're right. And I would even want them to get back into some of these smaller films, like back in like the Eisner era when Disney would make like the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
And, right. Yeah. Angels in the Outfield.
National like Treasure.
National Treasure. Air Bud, you know, Hocus Pocus. Like do smaller films like that again, you know? I mean, but at least they were like original. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I always bring up John Wick. Those movies cost about 70 to 90 million to make. They'll make 400 to 500 million at the box office, and they make money because the budget, and that's the other thing too, the budgets have gotten insane in Hollywood. So like every movie from Disney is like $250 million or more, which means it has to make almost $1 billion to break, you know, it's got to make a ton of money for it to make any sense. You just got to bring these budgets down. But yeah, I mean, that's why, and what Disney was built on, those like, you know, smaller movies, National Treasures, Mighty Ducks, like feel good movies. They used to do those sports movies. Remember the Titans, all that stuff. They don't do that anymore. Yeah. And a lot of that is like it end up on streaming or something, but it's like, you know, if you want, I don't know. I agree with you there for sure. Tone says, I think the problem is with these superhero movies is that most of these companies that bought these rights for the characters have to put out something or they lose the rights. That's true. Yeah. That is true that they have to. I know Superman has run into that before.
Well, and Sony with Spider-Man, I believe they have something like that.
Yeah, I think they have to put out a movie every so often. It doesn't mean you have to put out bad stuff, though. I mean,
well, yeah, see, exactly. That's kind of my point. Is that like to me that doesn't give the excuse to put out bad product. You know, just because you have to lose it or you lose it, well, then make sure what you're putting out and use it and make sure it's done well. You know, again, I'm not saying it's easy to do. I mean, I can't make a movie, but I'm just saying that, you know, you have a whole team there, you have a studio, you know, get the best talent and try to make the best movie of a Spider-Man movie or Kraven the Hunter movie that you can.
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely agree there. All right, let's move. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can up in the chat here. You guys are chatting like crazy. I appreciate it. Kiki and Lucas says original ideas don't make money. For example, Elio was a new idea and was a disaster. Disney is going for sure things. Okay, don't, at least my opinion here. Don't get confused original ideas and like, well, they tried something new. Just because it's original doesn't mean it's also good. I mean, think about The Matrix. Like The Matrix was mind blowing when that came out. I imagine there's a bunch of people being like, this looks insane. So like, original things are, you want to have those, but you also like Elio was also, it had a ton of people involved in that movie, and that movie that changed a ton. So like this is what I'm telling you is like you have so much corporate oversight and so much meddling in these things now that the final product is not what the initial thing was. And I think that's part of the problem. But I do think you can still make original stuff that hits. You can. I think that Hollywood just got such in this habit now where they're all kind of in this mix of like, we can't go do this because we're scared that it's not going to be a hit.
Well, what's the biggest thing right now? What's been the biggest animated film that's moved the needle culturally? K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah.
That was totally original, and it's hitting like crazy. They're already making a sequel, the whole thing. Now, I don't know the longevity for something like that. Is it going to be? Are we going to be talking about that movie in 10 years? Probably not. But I mean, that thing went crazy viral. So it's possible. And a company like Disney, a company like Pixar, or any of these animation studios, the big ones in Hollywood, they should be able to do what K-pop Demon Hunters did. You know?
Yeah. Oh, also too, like, I don't know why these Hollywood companies can't create movies like Godzilla -1. That movie was amazing. That was an awesome Godzilla movie. And that movie had a really cheap budget, and it looked awesome. It was awesome. It was a fun movie. And actually, Jared, they actually just announced the same director, right? They're doing Godzilla -0. Is that what it's called?
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing. Probably like, I think it was a little bit bigger budget, but still probably a lower budget than, you know, American Hollywood. Going to have awesome effects, cool Godzilla, great music, good acting, you know, and yeah, I mean, there's something that Hollywood here can really learn from, you know, these other foreign directors.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and you look at the special effects on Godzilla -1, like on the budget that they did that on, you're like, what? How in the world did you guys do that? Then you look at like some of the CGI in these big movies too, like doesn't look good. It's just kind of surprising, these huge budgets, and sometimes the CGI is just you're just raising your eyebrows, like how in the world does it look like that?
Well, and some of these I don't even know where it went, right? Like I'm not as hard. I'm not as hard on Dial of Destiny. Like a lot of people hated that movie. I didn't hate it. I actually had a good time with it, but it wasn't amazing or anything, you know. But like, where did all that money go? Like, it's not a heavily I can understand like a Star Wars, which it's like you got like all kinds of special effects. You're out in space. There's all these droids and creatures. He's an archaeologist.
I think it was. I think a lot of it was the de-aging of him in certain scenes, would be my guess.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I'm not gonna lie. I hated Dial of Destiny. I only recognize 3 Indiana Jones movies. Everything else, I've heard there's some fan art that got made, like some fan-driven movies, but I'm not a fan of that movie. And that's a good question.
So even the what was the other one, Crystal Skull? You didn't care for that one?
I like that one better than Dial of Destiny.
Really? Oh man.
Yeah, I like that one better, but I still only the way to end that. It's like Toy Story 3. That's the best ending of that franchise you could ever ask for. And then you're like, well, let's make 4 and 5. You're like, how about we don't? How about we just have new ideas? It's like they're gonna maybe do a redo of the Mummy. Like, just make another adventure movie. Like, you don't have to, like, not everything has to be like this thing. It's like we're gonna revamp, and like the chances of it being a Top Gun Maverick are very, very slim. Like, I was shocked at how good Top Gun Maverick was.
Yeah.
But those don't happen all the time.
Although Jared, you know what? I will tell you. In my own fan headcanon, I will tell you 2 my fan headcanon sequels for Indiana Jones. That would be after Last Crusade, you will have Indiana Jones Temple of the Forbidden Eye, and then you'll have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, the game that came out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That game, actually, the storyline of that game, I really did dig. Because it involved the pyramids. I freaking love ancient Egypt stuff. Yeah, I didn't finish that game, but the storyline I thought was I was playing it and I was like, this should have been an actual movie.
Right?
Like,
No,
it should. Sense.
Yeah, it should have. Like the whole it had like the puzzles and like Indy's like talking about certain artifacts you're finding. It was more Indiana Jones than the last 2 movies.
100%. Like you're walking around the Vatican and sneaking into stuff and all the secrets in that. Like that, I dig that stuff. That stuff is cool. Yeah, it was much more in the line of like traditional Indiana Jones.
The issue with Indiana Jones, and it's not really an issue, but it's an issue for the longevity of the franchise. The issue with it is that Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, right? Yep. And that's not bad. Harrison's awesome. I love that guy. But like, how do you continue a franchise? Obviously, he's too old at this point. So what do you do? Like, do you just do animation forever? Do you just do video games forever? Or do you have a new person step in? Do you make it like a female, like a Tomb Raider with like an extra medium shirt with some big old boobs? How do you reinvent this thing so it has longevity?
Indiana Jonesin? Is that what you call them?
You know what I'm saying? It's like, the extra medium shirt, right?
Yeah.
But how do you keep it going? That's what I'm saying. It's tough. It is.
Well, I would say that. Well, first of all, Troy Baker, the guy who did the voice for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, amazing job. I thought he sounded just like Harrison Ford. Like, if you just gave me Indiana Jones games with him voice acting as Harrison Ford and put his voice in the attractions for Indiana Jones, I liked it. Or if you did like a kind of like a cartoon or anime style Indiana Jones show, I would dig that too.
Yeah. Oh, well said.
You could, if it was a good actor that was casted in it and had a good script, you could. It just would take a lot of love and care, and you'd have to pay a lot of respects. And that was my issue with Dial of Destiny. It's like, let's bring Indiana Jones down. Let's kill his son. Let's make him a deadbeat. And I'm like, how many times do we have to see the hero become the deadbeat? I'm like, I'm so tired of it. Like Luke Skywalker treatment. I was like, I don't want to see Luke as a decrepit old man on an island because he ran away because he tried to kill his nephew, even though he wouldn't kill Darth Vader and he was evil, but he's going to kill his nephew when he had a vision. And I'm going to throw my lightsaber. Sorry, I'm going on a rant about Star Wars. I'm just tired of that stuff. It drives me crazy.
Tones here said, y'all better hope Jay Shear isn't listening to you guys bash Indy. Hey, that's why we waited until 7 o'clock California time, because he's in Florida. He's already sleeping probably.
I will say it to Jay's face. All right. I will drive to Disney right now for 2 hours, and I'll just go knock on his door, wake him up, tell him, and leave. And then he'll be very confused.
Hey, Tones, I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, man. I bought the $200 collector's edition of that game because I love that franchise so much. You know,
I love Indy. Like I said, I own the first 3 on Blu-ray. I love those movies. I think Last Crusade was the best way to end that. You got Sean Connery.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you have young Indy in that movie too that pulled out pretty well with was it River Phoenix? I think I saw somebody in the chat say.
Oh, was it?
I think it wasn't River Phoenix.
He was
River
actually
Phoenix played young Indy.
Yeah, and didn't he also play there was a show, right? The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles?
I think so. I don't remember ever watching that, but I think there was.
In the 90s, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. All right, let's move over. Let's talk about let's see here. There is a new ride system I want to get your guys' opinion about, because I saw this and this made me think of a certain thing we've many times talked about. So this is from Below Loop. It says Intamin and ETF ride systems launch new multi-dimension mover. Now, given we've talked before about Back to the Future having a resurgence, it recently re-released in theaters, did very well. There's been talk it might be going over into the UK park that they're building. There's been rumblings that it could make a comeback into at least, I know of at least Orlando. Excuse me. It's been talked about as potentially coming in. And this ride system to me looks like it was made for a Back to the Future type of ride. And there's a little video we'll watch on this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dope, dude.
Oh, hold on. I got to make a big screen here. Hold on.
Anything while you pull that up, anything that we can do to bring Back to the Future.
Oh, please, dude. And I'm telling you, Jared, it is a sin. It is a crime that Back to the Future, okay, a Universal Hollywood classic, was pulled out of Hollywood in California. Like,
thank you.
Oh, same over here too. My wife still walks through Simpsons Land and like holds her breath like she's going through a graveyard. She hates that land so much more than anybody else hates a theme park land. Like she loathes it. She won't even. We had to stand in line for an HHN house that was in that queue, and she was furious. She was just like, this is just the worst. I'm standing in the queue of what was my favorite ride ever, and now it's just this clown show. And I'm like, it literally is a clown show now. I mean,
hey, Jared and Webba, this is the one thing I'm going to give you an example of one reason why I love Universal. Okay, they are sometimes, even though it's a massive conglomerate, you know, Comcast, the whole thing. Sometimes they're kind of punk rock. During FanFest, they projected the Back to the Future logo on the side of the Simpsons ride.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was so amazing. I was like, that is so cool. Because it's weird. Universal sometimes, I feel like Universal sometimes understands the fans more than Disney in a lot of ways. But that was a move where it's like, even though Universal is guilty of the crime, right? But they make it seem like, oh, we're with you, fans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's kind of brilliant. It's kind of brilliant in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Well, right. Yeah. I really take that as like self-awareness, right? Like, oh, you know, we understand you. You know, we know what happened, right? Here's kind of a bit of a shout out, you know, because we get it, you know, like this beloved track was taken away. Now you have this Krusty the Clown guy, you know, in Springfield, right? And which, by the way, Jared, I'm not a Simpsons fan. Just FYI. So
I'm not either.
So I don't care for that land either. I want that thing to go. You know,
Yeah,
but I've always said, if Back to the Future comes back, dude, I would love to see a Hill Valley land, like a 2015, you know, with the flying cars and the hoverboards, dude. That would be sick.
Yep. No, I agree. Real quick before we watch this, Seymour Duck says, would Jared watch Back to the Future the musical? I would watch it. I'm not saying I would love it. I would watch it. I mean, if you're talking about a musical involving witches and the Wizard of Oz, I've never really been a big fan of the Wizard of Oz, and I naturally just don't trust witches. So I'm just not gonna like that movie. I'm gonna the whole time be like, I know what you're up to. I'm not a fan of this. All right, let's watch this real quick.
I'll do it.
I'm gonna turn. It just has music and anything on here, but I mean, if you look at this, and there's one car in here, they have multiple different cars, but one of them looks very similar to a DeLorean when you look at it. But it's essentially a dark ride system that's trackless. Like, look at the back of the car.
Oh, dude. What? Wow. Up to 20 miles an hour?
Yeah, with visual stuff, you can make it seem like you're going 80 because it's the same thing as like it's kind of similar to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, where it looks like it goes into like scenes with screens, like in this part here or something like that, and you go into a screen. You could totally make that seem like you're going into like a wormhole or something.
Oh wow, dude, what
right?
the heck? Yeah, that's sick, dude. What?
And we've talked about how if they brought Back to the Future back, I don't think audiences and I personally wouldn't want just like a ho hum simulator like they've done before.
No.
We got interactivity too. Oh man,
what?
But like if you brought something like this where it's 3-dimensional and it's like you're actually riding around on stuff, like this ride system looks awesome.
Bro, you could do so much with this. You can go, you can do, if you did a Back to the Future attraction, you can go back to the time of the dinosaurs, you can go back to the future, you can go to 1955, you can do all kinds of stuff, man. Dude, this would be absolutely insane. This is what I want to see Universal do with this franchise.
Well, and like we talked about before, I want the sensation that I'm in the DeLorean.
Exactly. Yes.
Put you in it. Like you could literally be sitting in the DeLorean, and then even that part here at the end where they're going through. I mean, this looks like you're going into a time machine. Like the way
and Jared, and this is why too. I've always said that if we get a Back to the Future ride, whether it's here in Hollywood or Orlando or the UK, I don't want it to just be a roller coaster. Like I know I get it because it's a flying car, you're going to the sky. I understand, but I want to be like I'm actually inside the time machine of the DeLorean. I want all the gadgets and gizmos, right? I want the physicality of that technology and be sitting in it.
Well, and you can even do like with the button stuff there, like what you have on Smuggler's Run, which I think Smuggler's Run is a good idea that in execution isn't as good because it's like if you get a kid pilot, like everybody's just crashing around stuff. But like in here, you could have Doc being like, oh, we got to hit the button. And like you hit the button and like it has parts of it where you're still like part of the story, but it's not like you're the one driving the car that everybody else has to be like, you're in there with them and you're banging around everything. I think this ride system, I mean, there's a lot of potential. I mean, people talked about you've got Back to the Future, Ghostbusters. You can even use like Mario Kart with this. Like this system would have been great for Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, so much. Because I'll tell you right now, OG, I'm sorry, man. I know you like Mario Kart.
I do.
I did not care for it. I love Mario Kart, I do not care for that ride, dude. It's like a one and done for me. It's too not fast for what it should be. And honestly, I could do without the AR headset. Like I'd rather just see the physicality of like the the props and whatnot.
Yeah, the set pieces. See, my thing about it is I think I went into it with such low expectations and I like Mario Kart. So for me, like I appreciate for what it is, but like it's not the greatest thing I've ever ridden. But I just didn't expect much out of it because I'd heard so much about it before. So I just went into it like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it's like I'm not waiting in that line for like an hour for that ride, like at all.
No. Now Kiki and Luca, like so it doesn't hit the same when we say physicality. So Webba, you should do like ASMR, like physicality.
By the way, I hate ASMR. I hate it so much. I don't know why. That I hear those like you get those commercials where they're just like, you should come and check. I'm like, I'm out. I can't do it. I don't like people whispering in my ear. This is weird.
I know. It's like, get out.
Okay, well, Kiki and Luca did send a $1.99 super chat. So thank you, Kiki and Luca. Says, can we get Webba to say physicality again? Okay, you got to do it into the mic. Very ASMR quality. Yeah. And we'll be really quiet while you do this.
Okay.
Oh, it kind of broke up a little bit there.
Did it?
Yeah,
broke
on.
See, that's either hot for some people or it just makes you. It gives you the EB. Or what do you call it?
The EVGBs.
There you go.
There you go. That was a good one. That came from the lungs.
Physicality, come on.
Physicality.
Then you have Arnold, like he's narrating the ride or something, just randomly for no reason. By the way, I would respect it if I went on to Back to the Future ride. He's like, "Welcome to Back to the Future." You're like, what the? Okay, I'm in, but like, why? What's he doing here?
That's fantastic. Now, real quick, a lot of people are saying Mario Kart, right? Which I totally get that. This ride system does seem pretty sick, and it would be perfect for that franchise. I think the only issue with that, the only hurdle that Universal will probably have with that is Nintendo has a lot of creative say. And I think Nintendo wanted more of a family ride. And I think this thing going like up to 20 miles an hour, I just think it's too thrilling. I think a lot of what we're seeing with the Mario stuff is a lot of Nintendo stepping in, you know what I'm saying? And it's their IP. They have a right to do that. I'm not dissing them for that. But I think Universal probably would have had a little more of a thrill knowing Universal's history with stuff, you know? But Nintendo.
There's probably something to that. I would say for sure. Give me 1 second. I got to tell my kids goodnight real quick. So if you guys want to, you can chat about this or whatever you guys want to talk about, and I'll be right back.
Sounds like a plan. We'll hold down the fort for you. Try not to burn the place down, right, Webba? We got this, right? We got this.
Exactly. I got man. You got OG, you got Spider-Man. You know.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, honestly, with Back to the Future, you really want to see them bring this franchise into the new era. Like, I don't want to see another like standard like Star Tours-y kind of ride, right? I want to see Universal go all out, take a risk, do something different. This would be perfect. I don't want to see, honestly, I've heard rumors of like a Back to the Future roller coaster.
Yeah, I don't want that, dude.
I don't either, man. It's not. I want to see more imagination in this franchise, you know? It can be thrilling and it should be, but it shouldn't be just a roller coaster. But go ahead, brother.
No, and also I want them to create a Back to the Future ride again, wherever in the world, you know, before all the main actors and actresses pass away, because we still have them here. You know, it's not like with Star Wars where, you know, we're losing some people, or Harry Potter, you know, you've lost a lot of the cast, or like, you know, supporting cast, some main cast, right? So utilize the cast you have still available now that are alive to do a new Back to the Future, you know, ride, or heck, you know, could they even preserve the old footage, which I know Comcast still has, and somehow tie it in with like the new attraction or like a secondary attraction,
right?
To like let's say like a Hill Valley, you know, land or whatever.
No, and you bring up a great point. We have all the actors and actresses alive with us right now, you know?
Yeah.
And not to get too dark and everything, but like, you know, Michael J. Fox has been struggling with Parkinson's for a really, really long time. I think he recently made a statement about it. He's in advanced stages of this disease, and, you know, it's really sad to watch, but I would utilize him and Christopher Lloyd. I mean, all this amazing talent, like while they're still with us, you know what I'm saying? Now is the time, Universal, to do this Back to the Future ride, especially right now. Universal's really leaning into their nostalgia.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Right? And smartly so. I mean, Disney, they learned, hey, Disney, you know, they make a mint on their nostalgia. Universal finally woke up and were like, hey, you know, we can make a mint too. We got great franchises. We got Back to the Future, you know? So Jared, we were just talking about how, like, and Webba brought up a great point. While we still have Michael J. Fox with us, while we still have Christopher Lloyd with us, utilize them and let's get something made here, you know?
Yeah, I would agree. I completely agree. I still contend it would be a massive hit in the parks. I think it's like these retro IPs would be so interesting for them to do. And if any company was going to do it, I do feel like it would be Universal. But even if you did like a retro area, you could have like Back to the Future, Jaws, like maybe even throw in Ghostbusters, but you just have so many of these classic things that you could do.
E.T.
I mean, you could. I mean, I don't think you could put it into the E.T. area because back there you probably couldn't. But I mean, E.T. being in the parks is a great example. That ride's actually gotten more popular the last like 5 to 7 years. Like the wait times keep going up on it, and nothing has changed about it. It's just sort of this. People are kind of like coming back to like Back to the Future because it hasn't been touched. It's just sort of like this time capsule that you can always go back to. And
well, I gotta say, Universal has been crushing it with a lot of their merch, a lot of their Monsters merch, even out here in Hollywood. The ET merch is amazing because that ET is so ugly, he's cute. Like he comes full circle,
Yeah.
like I mean, they crush it. But I heard, and I don't know if this is true, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard Spielberg was actually really upset that Universal got rid of, and this is pre-Comcast, just to make sure that everyone knows, but that Universal got rid of the ET ride out here in Hollywood. I heard Spielberg was not a happy guy about that.
Yeah, I've heard there were some things about he was very adamant about ET staying in Orlando. I do know there was something to that. So he was behind Monsters Unchained. So he definitely still has pull with Universal for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, lean into that at the very least. And just a little more information on before we get off the topic of this ride system here. I just feel interesting. There's a little bit more details on this article here. It says it is innovative ride solutions for theme parks. Hold on. Oh, that wasn't the part I was looking for. They had some facts about. Hold on, where'd it go? Okay, it can rotate up to 10 RPM when both the vehicle and the cabin rotate. It can reach up to 20 RPM when it rotates. It's powered by an onboard electronic supercapacitor and battery storage system, ensuring continuous operation. Optional interactive elements in the vehicles, such as shooters, pointers, and selection buttons, can trigger effects on the vehicles or the scenery. Fully adaptable for vehicle theming is also offered to fit any storyline.
Wow.
So that would also put into like Ghostbusters, if you want to do like that whole thing with it, like you've got your blasters and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of things you could do with it, undoubtedly.
I'm telling you, Universal, utilize this. Absolutely. And now, is it open for, I don't know, like this was at IAPA, right? Is this available for these companies to use, or is it like exclusive rights to some other company though?
I think this is available. This comes off the heels of it's going on in Orlando right now. There's that theme park convention they have with a bunch of new ride tech you can go check out. And I think this is why this is getting pub now, because it was unveiled here of this. So basically you go to this, if you go, which I do want to go probably next year, but like they'll come out with all these ride systems you can see. And then there's actual representatives from places that go look at this stuff. And then essentially the way theme park rides go, to my understanding, what people have told me, is essentially you find a ride system you like, and then you retrofit that to a storyline you can make it work for. So they don't come up with like a storyline first and let's find a ride system that fits this. They find a ride system they want to use, and then they make a story to fit that ride system, basically. So I think that's why you have these expos where they go check this stuff out, and they're like, oh, we could take that and put, like that's probably like the Kuka arm system, and they developed some sort of ride around that.
Now, I think it was, let me see, was it Remy D? He said no more Kuka arm. I think it was Remy D. And I agree with you, Remy D, to some degree. I'm going to have to push back a little bit though. I'm not a big fan of like absolutes when it comes to that kind of stuff, because I do believe there are certain things that will warrant a Kuka arm. You know what I'm saying? So like there might be an IP where a Kuka arm is the best option, right? But I agree with you in general, where it's like I think Universal has kind of gone to that well quite a few times now.
Like if you do it again, it becomes almost overkill. Unless, I mean, again, if it's a great ride, I mean, people might look past it, but you don't want to reuse the same ride system constantly. I get that. Vinton Solar says, see, Jared, it has a capacitor. It needs to be Back to the Future ride. I'm pretty sure they said flux capacitor in that article. I'm not going to go back and reread it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it said. I'm almost certain there. But no, I thought that was cool. I would love to see that come into the parks for sure.
Oh man, I'm telling you, and Universal, I think right now they're hungry, and I think that they are leaning into their nostalgia more, and it's a possibility, dude.
Yeah,
I legitimately get goosebumps when I go to Universal Hollywood, and I'm walking up to the park entrance, and they're playing that Back to the Future, the Alan Silvestri theme song, dude. I'm like, oh my god!
And if you think about like Dark Universe is kind of around that, like that's not based off like new movies or new IPs. These are old IPs that they brought back to life. So like they've already shown that they're willing to do that. Yeah, and I really, now there's rumors out there. And I don't know the credence of those rumors, but there are rumors that if Back to the Future, or if the new coaster is Fast and Furious, that then Supercharge obviously would go away. even though it's a beloved attraction. Of course, it's the best thing that's ever been created. And then maybe in there you would get Back to the Future. But also, if what I've also heard, the Pokemon is likely to go into Lost Continent, so then that frees up the Simpsons area where Back to the Future was. So if you're going to bring it back, you do have some potential flexibility on where you could do that. And I'm with Webba. If you do Back to the Future, do Hill Valley. Do the whole thing. Like, even eat into Men in Black. I know I don't hate Men in Black, but if you want to do a better ride, maybe 2 rides in that land, I'm all for it. I would be giddy if they announced we're doing Back to the Future in the park. I would. As much theme park coverage as I did of Building Epic, I would just be like weekly, just be like, I will get my own drone. I almost did get my own drone, by the way, to do Epic Universe coverage. I almost did. I will get my own drone to just daily check out all of the Back to the Future construction if they did it.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, now I want to ask you, Jared, because you're a Florida guy. Webb and I we're Californians. With Lost Continent becoming Pokemon, or potentially becoming Pokemon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it worry you? Because that's where Mythos is.
Right.
Does that worry you? Because I know a lot of people love, I've never been, but I heard a lot of people love it. The vibe, the food, which the food I guess you can put anywhere, but like Pokemon doesn't seem to fit with that. Like, I feel like that would be they would have to drastically change that experience with Pokemon. Where like a Zelda, they might not have to.
Right. I've had that very same concern because Mythos is great. I have been told that Mythos, this is what I've been told. I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is what I've been told. Is Mythos is going to be messed with, but the food is going to stay the same, and they're going to change the way it looks, but it's going to be the same menu.
Okay.
That's
I mean, at the end of the day, that's all that really matters, I guess.
I still don't like, but that thing is so cool inside. It's like you're eating inside of a cave. I'm just like, just leave. Like, I don't know. I love that thing, but as long as the food is still there, I guess I won't be too upset. But that's what I've heard. Now that very well could change because theme park rumors and what. Like, I imagine things get decided. This is where we're leaning, and then all of a sudden on a Tuesday, something shifts. But that's what I have been told. So what the permits do line up with that as well when you look at the square footage.
So what you're saying is confirmed without a doubt. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely. I got a hot scoop right now. Like, people will tell me stuff, and I'm like, okay, like I won't say anything. Well, you can say something. I was like, I also don't want to go out, like, I don't know. Like, if I had something I felt was really good, I was excited about it, I'd probably talk about it. But I was like, I don't also want to be the like Mike Zero of Star Wars, where like every week is like, Kathleen Kennedy's fired this week. I'm like, how many times can a woman be fired?
I know, right? Whatever happened to him, dude? I forgot about Mike Zero. What happened to that guy?
He switched to doing like general Hollywood stuff. I think he still makes videos. I don't think it's specifically about Star Wars.
Dude, he was coming up with some crazy stuff for Rise of Skywalker. All kinds of stuff.
I was just wondering if he was just making it up, or if people were like, I just am curious as to like how we got the video ideas, because I'd hear him and I'd just be like, that's not going to happen. I mean, granted, like nowadays with Star Wars, if you told me something crazy, I'd be like, I could see it. But at the time, you're just like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Like he had, I remember coming across one of his videos where he was saying like there was going to be like this scene where like Anakin's face was like it was altering between Anakin's face and like Vader's and stuff, and like I don't know, all kinds of weird stuff. And I'm like, dude, and none of that came about. None of it.
Absolutely. I think his hit rate's like 0.5%, but there's still just like tons of videos on it. I'm like, I respect the hustle. You're out there doing it, but those were wild. What's up? Pizza and Park Hop says Mythos is okay, but gives 90s restaurant vibes. What's wrong with the 90s? If I go back to 90s Pizza Huts, I will do it yesterday. Like, I'm angry that we got that taken away from us. The red roof with the buffet and the gaming stuff. Oh man,
come on now. The 90s were amazing. I miss the 90s. I really miss the 90s,
dude.
By the way,
I'm telling you, man.
You want to feel old. Do you realize in Back to the Future, and then you go back to 1955, for us, that would be going back to like 1995.
No way, really?
Nope.
Oh man, dude. That's okay, weird. So 90s and Pizza Hut, right? Do you guys remember back in the day when Crash Bandicoot Spyro, the first like Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation came out?
Oh yeah.
Pizza Hut, when you ordered like delivery, they brought you a PlayStation demo disc. It had Tony Hawk Pro Skater on it.
Remember that?
Remember that, dude? Yep. That was awesome. I loved it. Metal Gear, GTA 2, Crash Bandicoot. Oh, I love that. You had your pizza, the smell of the pizza. Then you had your demo disc. Oh, dude,
Dude, I'm a grown man. If you guys were like, hey, we're having a LAN party and we're playing GoldenEye or ordering pizzas, I'm like, I'm there. Like, I will spend the night. I will bring my PJs. I will be ready to go.
You're there.
Natasha says, Mythos Lamb Burger was great. 90s is great. I agree on both. The Lamb Burger is amazing. Absolutely. Like, it is one of the best burgers I've ever had at a theme park for sure.
Hey, Kiki and Luca, Mrs. Soup's Plantation. I remember those. That was back in the day. Oh, maybe it was a California thing. I don't know. It was like a buffet style, I believe, where you go in there and
I never even heard of that.
Yeah, man, I haven't seen one of those in years.
I remember we had a thing called Mr. Gaddy's, and it was a buffet, and then in the back they had the arcade, and that's when they had the big X-Men like 4-person player and like the Ninja Turtle one. Oh man, we used to go back there and we'd eat our pizza as quick as we could, go back there and waste all our quarters and never could beat the game.
Dude, that Ninja Turtle arcade game was amazing.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Oh, hard. Yeah.
It was actually pretty difficult. I remember that. 7H John says, I could see a water ride where Squirtle jets you down a slide or something, and then Hazard shoots flames or something. But like, what else are you supposed to do with that? I mean, I don't know what you guys talking about. I mean, that sounds cool to me.
Yeah.
Well, he's talking about Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Pokemon.
I don't know enough about Pokemon to really know what you would do. I know it would be really popular. I just don't know anything about Pokemon of like how you would do a ride or how that would even work.
Well, I think there's supposed to be a Pokemon theme park that was announced.
There is. It's more of like it's got like a couple of little attractions, but it's most almost like a park. It's like you go. It almost looks like a place to go play Pokemon Go in many ways, but it is supposed to be in Japan though.
Yeah. Poke Park Kanto, right? To open in Tokyo, February 5th, 2026.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pizza and Park Hop says 90s pizza, you would get the Book It program, mini pizza, and when the NCAA tournament, you got a mini basketball. I remember the mini basketballs. I remember that.
That's wild. Hey, good friend Rudio. What's going on, Rudio? What's going on, brother? There's a whole YouTube doc I watched about the connection between the TMNT arcade cabinets and Pizza Hut. They made the game hard on purpose for kids to spend more quarters on the game while waiting. That's crazy.
I knew it. I knew that. That game at times, it was so frustrating. And by the way, you can emulate that game and it's still insanely difficult. I don't think I've ever beaten it.
Well, actually, I've been playing like a lot of older games lately, and I think most of the older school games, for like the 90s, like late 80s, 90s, were all hard on purpose because most of them were short. They were really short games. So they made them hard on purpose, so that way you got your play time in it. But they still piss you off though, because it's like, that wasn't fair. This game cheated, right? And like any little things that ended me. Like, Jared, did you ever play like the Back to the Future game on the NES?
I want to say but I have a hard time picturing it. But I think I did.
So it's like in that game, everything you hit is like an enemy. You hit a bush, you're done.
Oh
right?
yeah,
you're done. It's like what?
They did make those games, but games like that, you just like. But I was so competitive. Like my wife never understood if I was playing a game. I'm too competitive, so I'd be getting furious. You're like, why don't you just quit? I'm like, why don't you? What are you talking about? You don't quit. You beat the game.
Yeah,
this is the whole point. If I give up, the game wins. I can't have that.
Is that how you are, Webba, when you play? Are you pretty competitive yourself?
Yeah. When it's fights like that, I don't get mad a lot, but when I play games, I get really mad when I play games because Jared, I don't want to lose to the game, right? I want to beat the game. I want to show the game I can win it, right? And like we're here, Rudio, Lion King, right? Lion King, perfect example. Okay, so actually, me and OG, we have a video coming out for on the channel, Lion King. But I've done Jungle Book, Aladdin. I actually have Pinocchio on my Super Nintendo. Pinocchio is the only one I legitimately completed. All the other games like Jungle Book, Lion King, it's all because I bought it on the new PS4 version where you can like rewind your mess ups. You know what I mean? And that's the only way I could beat it because these games are too hard, dude. Like,
well, I remember Aladdin was kind of hard. I remember that game was kind of difficult too. Yeah, they did. No. I mean, back in the day, like you had to work if you're going to beat a game, you had to work for it. It was not an easy thing just to like pop in a game. They've made games so easy now in many ways. But yeah, I will just say I'm much calmer than I used to be. But by nature, I am, let's just say me and my brother, with our wives and everything, we were playing a game of Risk. And I may have flipped over the table when my brother backstabbed me because he was going to win. And I might have gotten mad. And so I flipped this table over and I was like, whatever. And my brother just starts laughing. And my wife is horribly embarrassed by it. So now I'm not allowed to play Risk. But I have calmed down. Although I did watch my brother one time. Him and his friend were playing a 10-game series of MLB, like a World Series. And my brother did a suicide squeeze. And the game glitched and he lost. And I just watched him break his control. I was like, don't do it. And he just breaks it in half. I was like, I've been there.
Hey, now, Ebba, you're younger than we are. I don't know if you'd remember this. Jared, you might remember it. ColecoVision?
I never had one. I've heard of it. I never played it, though.
Yeah, I had one when I was a kid. And they had a really banger Smurfs game on ColecoVision. I'm really dating myself today. But the Smurf game was pretty sick. Pretty sick.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about it. The first one I ever got was this regular Nintendo. I remember getting that. Natasha says GoldenEye and Ocarina of Time all the way. Shakey's Pizza in California is awesome. Dude, gosh, I love retro games. Fort Misery Gaming, what's up? He says, did any of you go to the IAAPA this week for the new theme park tech? That is the expo. I did not go, but I did. That's where that one ride we were talking about kind of came out of, I think. But I do want to go, probably maybe next year. Get down there.
Yeah, I mean, if they had one over here in California as a theme park fan, I would love to go. Because
it'd be a cool thing to go to. Like, some of them you can actually ride. I mean, they had I think that thing they're doing for that Tony Stark Flight Lab.
I
think you could actually ride it at the expo, kind of like give you a demo of what it could do. Yeah, sometimes they'll let you do that, I think.
Okay, Jared, I want to ask you, brother. We have D23 coming up next summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any chance you'll be boots on the ground for D23 or not?
There's a chance because when I went and told my son goodnight, he was literally playing with. He's not supposed to have cars in his bed, and he had his cars in his bed. And I heard him saying the name. I was like, "What are you doing, buddy?" And he's like, "Oh." So his kid's obsessed with cars. So there's a good chance. There's a good chance. My wife's been wanting to go to. So I've never been to Disneyland. My wife's been before, but she's like, "We got to take the kids." I'm like, "Okay," because our son would legitimately freak out in Cars Land.
Oh man. That'd be great.
He would. I'm not even kidding. I don't believe that we could get that kid to leave that land. I think it would be like a challenge to be like he would just never want to leave. So
it's cool. It's a really cool land, Jared. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I've definitely heard. John Bradford says I had a demo disc with Spyro, MGS, Medieval, Legacy of Khan, Soul Reaver 2, a ton of other games, and the opening cinematic for Parasite Eve gave me nightmares. I used to love those. And Nintendo Power, you would get demos too. I remember that when
Yeah. I mean, here's that. Like going back to like the whole thing in the '90s, right? Whether it was games or movies, I don't know. I know I was born in the '90s, but I feel like the '90s was kind of the overall best era for like a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
The '90s were awesome. Yeah,
I love the '90s, dude. Like, cause I know '80s
the movies that came out in the '90s. Like 1 year of movies and the bangers that would come out in the mid 90s is more than we've had in like a decade.
Oh,
just
easy.
Like great movies that come out. Yeah.
Well, the great thing about the 90s too, and especially with like Disney, like if you look at the animation back then, right? It was like stuff that like was like it harkened to the past. Like, for example, Beauty and the Beast could be a movie that Walt Disney did, right? So it was very reminiscent of like the Walt era, but yet it felt very new and fresh at the same time, right?
Yep.
Lion King could have been a movie that Walt did. It could have been like a Bambi-ish kind of movie, but yet it still felt very fresh and new. It was like 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future. It was like that perfect kind of mix of both.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I feel like a lot of this new stuff is missing, unfortunately. Yep. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old. Who knows?
I mean, listen, we may show our age, but I think the 90s were pretty awesome. Even, 90s fashion is coming back now. I mean,
it is.
You look at it that way. John Bradford said, I'm with you, Webba. Modded my PS2 with a jailbroken SSD. Now it has 400 games built in, canceling my PSN account.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey, do you guys remember the Super Mario Super Show on Fox?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
With that little Mario rap in the beginning, dude, that was sick.
You remember the Super Mario movie?
Oh, that was awful.
Oh yeah. Well, hold on 1 sec, because he mentions that one.
That thing was so weird. It was weird.
With the Goombas with the little heads.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there was,
the big bodies, small little heads. Like, what
it's like
is
a
this?
weird like acid trip to watch that. You're like, what the hell is going on here? Kiki and Lucas says Mike Tyson punch out, excite bike, RBI baseball. Yep. Mike Tyson punch out. I don't know if I ever beat Tyson. I think I got close.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have punch out. I have the one punch out for the Super Nintendo. I can never get past like the 4th or 5th guy, dude. It just got too hard. Again, I got mad just through the controller.
Oh, once you figure out that game, it's all about a pattern. So once you figure out the pattern, you can basically beat anybody. But Tyson's like, you can only mess up a couple of times before he gets you. And he's like super quick about it. But there is like I've seen a guy beat it really quick. And he was talking about how he does it. And it's like every character has a pattern. And if you follow it, you'll beat them. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you guys remember Kid Icarus?
I remember. Yep. I remember Paperboy. Used to play that all the time. Skate or Die.
Skate or Die, dude. That was great.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Man.
Ethan Parkup says my uncle and his friends would babysit me, and I was a kid to play my parents' Atari. There you go. I never had an Atari. I remember it.
Do you guys ever play the Little Mermaid game on the NES?
Yeah.
That game was hard, dude.
All those games. That's the thing. All those games were hard. They were like the Toy Story game was hard too. There were levels where I was like, I don't know how to get out of this. Like you just get to a weird point.
Dude, the one level that was the hardest was the RC car one because he kept spinning like on the floor, sliding around. Although I will say, I'm proud to say I have beaten Pinocchio and also Goof Troop. Did you ever play Goof Troop?
I don't think I ever played Goof Troop.
I played it, but not too. I mean, a little bit.
So it's cool. It's a great game. So it's like it's 1 or 2 players and it's Goofy and Max, and then it's like a kind of like a top down like angled top down view almost, and it's like there's puzzles you saw throughout the game, and like there's little like the weapons you get to like defeat enemies. It's cool. It's a cool game. I beat it a couple times, but
okay, I mean, I like playing some of those older games. I like having my kids play those games because I'm like, you learn to play these, and the newer games are way easier when you get into those.
Oh, absolutely.
Robert Polk says the 80s were cooler than the 90s.
I mean, in some ways they were. I mean, look, this is the thing. Like, Jared, like, okay, so Jared and I are about the same age. Webba, we're about a decade different, right?
Yeah.
Ish.
I mean, I'm 24, so I don't know about you.
You're right, exactly. and Webba's 34, so we're about a decade, right?
Right.
We're about a decade. No, but in all seriousness, though, like the 80s, we grew up as kids in the 80s, which were like that was incredible because we had like the Saturday morning cartoon, like we got Smurfs, He-Man, Silverhawks, Voltron.
Oh yeah.
All the bangers, right? Ghostbusters, all that good stuff. But then as we got into our teens, though, we had that Disney Renaissance stuff. Like we had like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Aladdin, all that good stuff. So we kind of had like a little bit of a Toy Story. So we had like kind of like, I don't know, like kind of the best of both worlds for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I remember still going to see a double feature of when the Lion King. It was like an early thing. It wasn't technically out yet, but it was Angels in the Outfield and then the Lion King. I remember that was like a double showing, and yeah, I remember Angels in the Outfield. I found very depressing. I was like, this movie seems very like Tony Danza's character dies and all this stuff. I don't know. It was interesting.
Now Rudio brings up an interesting point here. Tiger Electronics Disney handheld games got me through so many road trips. Those games were amazing, Rudio. Amazing. Do you guys remember? Obviously, we probably all had Game Boy, but do you guys remember Game Gear, the Sega one?
Game Gear. I had both. Yeah, Game Gear was awesome.
Dude, it was in color too.
Yep, that was the thing. It was in color, and it had a backlit because if you played the Game Boy on a road trip, you had to have a light on it because it wasn't backlit. So you're like playing like in the car, and you're like you can't see, and you're like, oh, I gotta beat this light. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was annoying until the Game Boy SP came out. You know, like that flip one. You know, the flip one, you would flip it.
Oh yeah.
That one finally had the light. I can't remember if the Game Boy was it not DS, the Game Boy Advance. I think you still have to use a light for that, right? Or did that come with the backlight? I don't remember.
I think that came with a backlight. I'm trying to remember now. I don't remember. Somebody might know better than me. Oh, the Game Gear ate through batteries like crazy. Yeah, you had to have, like we had rechargeable batteries because that thing would maybe last like 2 hours, maybe.
Oh, dude, do you guys remember this game? Ghouls and Ghosts.
It used to freak me out, and it was hard. I remember that game. I do remember that game.
That one was killer, dude. I mean, yeah, pretty much all those games. Like, I'm trying to think of what other games. I mean, it was weird. So I had a game for the NES. It was I think it was Jeopardy, Jeopardy or something. Is like you spin the wheel. It was so weird because the games, the consoles at the time came out with like games that were kind of like real life stuff in a sense like that. I think I had one of like Monopoly too. Did you ever play that one, Monopoly on NES?
I don't think I did. I remember those games coming out though. And I could see, like, as I've gotten, like, I remember when my daughter was really little, so to put her to bed, so I was the only one that could do it. She would fall asleep on my chest, and after like 20 or 30 minutes, and I could lay her in her crib. So I would literally, she'd fall asleep on my chest, and I would play Wheel of Fortune on my phone. Like, it was
Okay.
Those games, I understand why people play them because they're just kind of like, you're just kind of like whatever for like 20 or 30 minutes. I thought that was kind of fun, but I could see Monopoly. Like, I remember my mom played it, I think, because she had like a game she would play sometimes if we weren't playing it. I think I remember her having it, but I never had any interest in it because I wanted to play like Ninja Turtles or something.
Do you guys remember this? Remy D says TurboGrafx 16. Remember was it Bonk's Adventures? That little caveman dude that you would use your head to like headbutt people?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I may have played it. I'm trying to, all these games, see, a lot of these games, once I see them, I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that. I'm gonna look.
I think it was Bonk's Adventure or something to that effect on TurboGrafx.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah. And then hold on. What was the one? Somebody brought it up. Where did it go? What were you gonna say, Webba?
I was gonna say, do you guys remember back when the fate of the poor Sega Dreamcast? I remember the Dreamcast of my neighbor. So here's the I was never really into sports, but when that console came out though, I actually liked playing football and basketball games. And I think it was like NBA, was it 10K or I don't know, it was something. And I remember my neighbor, or my friend, his dad, he burnt me like CD copies of the game for the for the Sega Dreamcast off his computer.
That's the thing. I love the Dreamcast, but you could definitely. I had a buddy that would do that too. I had like 15 games that were all just like black market games you could get. Yeah, I remember. I remember playing as Jordan when he's on the Wizards, and I would just wreck people with his fadeaway in that game. Like it got to the point where like I wasn't allowed to play with the Wizards because I would just play with Jordan and just I just always would do the fadeaway on there.
Oh,
they had it kind of OP'd. Vinton Solar says he remembers that double feature. I think there was also one for like Little Mermaid, if I remember correctly. But John Bradford said the 80s were the last decade of American optimism. That's why nostalgia for the 80s is so powerful, even for young people who were not alive to see it. There is a word for that called anemia. I don't know if I said that right. I would say the 80s and 90s were definitely definitely the 80s had that too, like the optimism about it, I would say.
Yeah. Now, real quick, I do want to address this because Fort Gay Misery. He said he saw our bar chat on OG55 about a week ago. I had Alan from Almighty Coasters and Theme Park Wizard on, and he said they felt pretty derogatory. Did you guys feel the same in regards to Epic? I said in that video, Fort Misery, I believe that I haven't been to Epic. Alan has though. Alan didn't hate the park. He just called it okay universe. That was his thing. He was like, it's okay. He didn't love it though. But yeah. But and then he goes on to say, I know you guys said in the comment you never been, but there you go. Okay. But also, did your guest on the video have had a bad experience with crowds? Yeah, Alan did go, and he didn't love it. He didn't hate it. He didn't love it. So I don't think he had a bad experience with crowds, though. I could be mistaken on that. I'm not really sure. But anyway, just want to address that. Nobody hated the park. I mean, I haven't even been, so I can't really say. And I've been excited to check it out. But Alan just wasn't like over the moon impressed by it. You know what I'm saying? But
that's fine. Not everybody can be impressed by everything.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, I could talk about 80s and 90s gaming for like 2 hours. So maybe we'll do a whole stream on this one of these days. And
I'm down, dude.
It'll be fun to talk of these things while playing a game and then like talking about it or something and then just see how angry I get during the play because I would get frustrated. Like OG Mario and stuff. Pizza and Park Hops. Crash Bandicoot was hard. I loved Crash Bandicoot, but that was a tough game.
Crash Bandicoot was because I recently, a couple years ago, I replayed the trilogy and then number 4 that came out. And I think on what was it? One of the first 3 games, there was like an extra hard level. I forgot what it was called, but it was like it was raining. You were climbing up this tall castle thing, this platforming. Dude, that game is no chill, man. that game just murders you.
Even like Contra was hard. Like certain
Oh,
levels of
yeah.
Contra where you just had to keep like, and then there was no save point in those games. You had to start all over.
Wait, was Contra the game with the up, down, left, right, A, B, that code, that cheat code? Was that Contra?
I think it might have been.
Okay. Yeah, that was crazy.
I can't remember. Yeah, I want to say remember it was. And the original Prince of Persia, original Prince of Persia was a tough game. Yeah, I remember that.
Dude, Jared, we got to dedicate a whole show to this one day. I would love to do it.
I love this stuff. It'd be fun to like play through some of these and talk about it. But yeah, I still love playing video games, but like it's not the same as it used to be. But video games are, the graphics have gotten better for sure. But some of the gameplay, I miss some of the older stuff. Tone says Mortal Kombat OG. I remember Mortal Kombat OG.
Dude, and Mortal Kombat, Tones, that was a game changer back then, because back then, I mean, we live in a different time now than we did back then, but like the blood and all that stuff back then was really controversial.
Oh yeah.
That
was the game I was not allowed to play, even though I still played at my friend's house sometimes. I was not supposed to play that. Real quick, do you guys know if on the Mario Galaxy trailer, do you know if it'll get hit if we react to it?
It's a tough one.
I don't think so, because so me and Mr. Seymour Duck, we've done a couple of Nintendo videos recently, and we haven't gotten hit by Nintendo for any copyright stuff.
Okay. Well, I'll play it and then we can react to it, because I do want to take a look at the Mario Galaxy trailer, and then I think this will have some implications into Epic Universe potentially. But Mario Galaxy had a trailer come out. This movie's going to come out in April, and I'm not going to lie, it looks pretty awesome. So we're going to take a look at it real quick.
Hey, big guy!
Oh,
You wanted to see us?
don't move. I'll be right up. Sipping the soup, cleaning the paint. Boodle-doo, boodle-doo, and also trim the bonsai bush. Here we go. Hey, Luigi. What's up, Mario? Behold, I made a masterpiece for Princess Peach. What do you think?
Love the colors.
It's trash.
How dare you look at my masterpiece and say that?
I'll burn the skin off your bones.
Wow. Sorry about that. That's the old Bowser talking. Still working through my demons, I suppose. Anyway, I need my 8 hours or else I really turn into a monster.
I'm Bowser Jr., and I'm gonna be taking my father now!
Princess Rosalina, you're coming with me.
So I think, it's going to make probably like $1.5 billion, if not $2 billion, I'm guessing, from that.
Easily, yeah.
What did you guys think about the trailer overall? Are you hyped for the movie?
Yeah, I am actually. I really liked the first one. There was a lot of complaints I saw like in the film community, like, where's the story? Where's the
Oh,
story? It's like it's a
God.
Super Mario Brothers movie, you guys. This isn't
Yeah.
like it's not supposed to be Citizen Kane or some crazy like I mean, I don't know. For me personally, I thought it was enough story for me. I loved it. I'm excited for this one. I think the animation on this one, and I could be tripping, but I think on this one, the animation, like they really stepped up.
It
Like
looks
that,
really good. It does
yeah,
look very, very good.
yeah,
I'm
like
very
that
curious
first
what the
scene.
budget on this is.
It's got to be high. It's
Oh,
got to be high. But
last one was only 90. So if they're able to keep it under 100, that's probably a pretty good win.
it is, yeah. That first scene with Bowser painting, like the paint, like I'm into like animation and stuff. I notice these weird things, like the paint, the animation looks super good.
Yeah.
I was like, this looks legit, you know? Yeah, no, I think it's gonna do very well. I think that it's smart for them to go the Galaxy route. Yeah, I'm all in, dude. I'm excited. I think it looks fun.
Well, and I think the big thing is Rosalina showing up. And then they didn't show him in here, but Yoshi's going to be in this movie too, which is, and this brings me back. Well, first up, before we go there, Webba, what do you think about the movie? You think it's going to do good? Are you excited for it?
Oh, dude, yeah. So one, I am excited for it. I do think it's going to do really well. I love the first movie. And to like, yeah, what OG was saying about people complain about the story is a Super Mario Bros. Like story. You're defeating Bowser and getting the princess. Like, I mean, it's something super complex, and I don't need it to be complex. You know, that's how you actually ruin this thing.
Right.
And no, and Illumination. Oh, dude, the visuals are just like peak, dude. They're so good. I love it. And also it works really well too for the whole galaxy thing because all the colors and the planets, right? The different locations. I think it works really well. And I'm excited to see Yoshi. I liked what I saw here. Having Rosalina in here is going to be awesome, dude. And yeah, I mean, also I saw a reference to Super Mario Odyssey. We have Shadow Mario. It looks like it with Bowser Jr.
Yeah,
So
I look like a little bit there. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, so a lot of cool stuff they're taking from these other games and kind of putting them into this movie, which is cool because I like to see when companies they take elements from different like stories or stories or games and they kind of create a new story out of something that was already kind of there. So I like
Right.
that. I like that's very interesting. So I'm very curious to see what direction they go because I know I played both Galaxy 1 and 2, right? And Nintendo, they're coming out with like a dual game like Galaxy 1 and 2 for the Switch 2, right? And yeah, those games were fun. They were great. You know, I hope we get to see some like kind of power ups from those games in this movie. And I'm sure we will. I'm sure this movie will have a lot of references and Easter eggs that we saw like in the first movie, right? Yeah,
Oh,
man,
I'm
this
sure,
looks
yeah.
great. Yeah, I'm excited, man.
Well, and another thing too, I don't remember exactly when the first one came out. I thought it was in May. So it was more like a summertime, early summertime movie. This is more springtime. This is April. It's going to completely dominate in April because that's not typically like a big movie month.
Yeah. No, this one will
thing-
do very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I agree. Like Mario doesn't have much of a story. They'll probably have to have more of a story to this movie just because you have to build upon it. So there probably will be more of a storyline in here. But I think Rose, like the thing that gets me excited because like even this shot right here, like visually it looks great. So again, I think it's gonna do great. Nintendo is very protective of their stuff, so I'm sure that it's going to follow their lore and all that stuff like that. But the thing that's interesting I find about it is the theme park side of it, which Universal has. There's been rumblings before, but there's rumors that they were going to do their own like princess verse off of the Nintendo princesses. So if you're able to get Peach, Rosalina, and Daisy,
yeah.
I mean, as big as Nintendo is, and I know Disney has historically owned that with princesses and little girls, that would be something if they're able to establish that in their parks and that becomes a big thing of meet and greets and things like that. I think that is, I mean, I've said for a long time, I think Nintendo potentially is going to be bigger for Universal than Wizarding Worlds were with how big Nintendo is. And not to mention, I think even without Epic Universe, just having Nintendo in the Universal parks is a problem for Disney because there's no answer for it. There's no other video game. They're going to try and work in Fortnite, but there's nothing that's going to come close to like the nostalgia and the multiple generations that Nintendo has. And so if they're able to parlay this, I mean, Rosalina, Yoshi meet and greets into the parks, I'm sure they're going to promote this heavily in Epic Universe, especially in out in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I think that potentially could be a really, really big thing for just the theme park side alone.
And Jared, and also going back to like the studio side, right? Nintendo is now getting into the studio stuff, right? I want theme parks and studio stuff. And already the first Mario movie was a hit. We already have like shots of like the live action Legend of Zelda from New Zealand. Now we have
Mhm.
this movie coming out. If all these movies are top tier quality movies, this is great for the studio. It's great for Nintendo, and it's going to just be this awesome synergy between the theme parks and the studio, dude. It's going to be a monster.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's that IP flywheel that Disney has been so successful over the decades in doing. Nintendo is now dipping into their version of that IP flywheel. I think it's brilliant. Now, Rudio and Seymour Duck said that the first film was a spring release. So it was April. So I didn't realize it was that early on in the year. So yeah. And hey, look, the first movie, it cracked $1 billion. So I think this one will do just as well. Like almost certainly.
I wouldn't be shocked if this beats out the first one.
Yeah, I think
I could see that. I mean, especially if it's a really good movie. I suppose the worries there is Mario going to get sidelined, but I have a feeling he won't. I would assume and like Luigi kind of got sidelined in the first one as well. Like I kind of want more Mario and Luigi together potentially, but no, I think it looks good. And like the only thing about it, that one line Mario said where it looks like trash, that's not really, I don't feel like that's something Mario would say, but you're going to have something like that get into modern movies, undoubtedly. But
yeah, that felt a little bit like, a little too modern for the character. Like I wouldn't see him saying that either. That was one thing I would agree with you. That kind of stuck out for me.
And some people were not happy to see Brie Larson is voicing Rosalina, but I think Brie Larson has learned her. I mean, if you listen to I know she said a lot of stuff during the Captain Marvel run up, but she really hasn't said too much in the recent years.
No.
I think from what I've heard too is like she's a Nintendo fan. So, I don't have any problem with Brie Larson as long as she's, not on the press tour saying don't tell men to come watch the movie or something. But other than that, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, and Jared, here's the other thing too. And OG, me and you, we talked about this before, right? It's like that. Okay, she says some stuff that were not cool, nobody liked. But does that mean that her whole career has to end and never come back for anything ever again?
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, come on, that's silly.
She did a movie a few years ago. I think it was called Room. I think that was called Room. I could be mistaken, but that was actually really, really good. She was great in it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I mean, she was in the Fast and Furious movies. So I mean, pinnacle of movie making right there.
Oh yeah, dude. Exceptional.
Right.
Exceptional.
Family.
Yeah. Speaking about family. Speaking of Fast and Furious, they've been testing that coaster out here in Hollywood pretty aggressively. They haven't started spinning the cars yet, but it's been going around the track, getting a little faster, a little more furious. It's been fun to watch. It's crazy. I'm not gonna go, but it's fun to watch.
I'm not gonna go. I mean, it does look good. I will say, Ben and Solar says, yes, Nintendo will be big and all that, but you cannot compare a Gain Princess 22, the classic. Okay, you can't compare the Princess classics. I think what when you're talking about, and I know this because my daughter is younger. I mean, she's like little girls, like they love the Nintendo princesses. Like, I mean, that is a whole thing. I'm not saying that it would be like you can like both, but I think if Universal is able to have their own version of princess stuff that's tied to Nintendo, I think that would be a pretty big deal. I'm not saying it would like overtake all the nostalgia stuff that Disney has, but that is an area where a lot of the younger, especially girls, are really into like Rosalina. Like my daughter loves Rosalina. Like she was super hyped that she was going to be in this movie. So I think there's going to be a ton of girls, not 7, 8, 9-year-old girls that would love to go to Epic Universe and go see Rosalina.
Well, and here's the thing too, and to your point, Jared, where it's like, it's not necessarily there to replace, because it's gonna be very difficult. The princesses are a bajillion-dollar franchise for Disney, right? But it's a way for Universal to tap into that market a little bit, at least, right? Where like you were saying, Jared, little girls like Rosalina, and is Daisy a princess technically? I think so, right?
I think Daisy is.
Yeah, Daisy and Peach and all that. And also you have to remember too, Universal's also getting into the Wicked stuff, which has princesses or whatever. They look like princesses, right?
Yeah.
So you're never going to replace like the Little Mermaid and Belle. I mean, those are always going to be like the OG princesses that all the girls love. Yeah. But this is Universal's way to sort of tap into that market share and at least get a slice of the pie, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jared.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
I would say, and if any little girls don't want the princess stuff, if Nintendo brings into the theme parks, you could have Samus, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Samus is a female. She's badass, just shooting up stuff right in space.
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, and I think that's where Nintendo has appeal. Like, it's very unique, and this is why I think it's something that you can't really match in terms of getting video game franchise, because it appeals to, like, it can appeal to little girls, it can appeal to men, boys, like it appeals to a whole swath of people that is multi-generational. And so, like, you can have Super Nintendo World where you go in there and a 9-year-old girl's happy and the dad's happy and the brother's happy. Like, it's very rare that you find things. Typically when you're talking about Disney princess stuff, it's like you do it. I mean, I've been there. You do it for your daughter to go meet the princesses, but like,
Right.
The young boy, her brother's not going to like it. The dad's going to be like, okay, let's just go do this. Versus like everybody that's there is into it because it all has something different to offer. Potentially, at least. That was something they threw out there. I remember a couple of years ago, but I bet they make their way into the park. I would not be shocked by that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And actually, speaking of the park, Jared, so because we're talking about the parks from Mario, right? So this is a galaxy, right? Now, because I've been a super advocate about Universal, for Nintendo getting a Star Fox attraction. I love Star Fox, right? Because that would give you like the kind of space theme, but also so with Samus. So if you have Super Mario Galaxy, would you want to have, instead of a IP land, you create like a galactic land which has multiple IPs in it? So like Super Mario Galaxy, Metroid, Star Fox. Like, would you want to see that, or or even F-Zero to some extent?
Personally, yeah. I just don't. I think when you look at the Metroid games, though, they probably just haven't sold as well. Like, I know their worry with Zelda was the cross appeal to people that weren't necessarily into it. I would love to see it. I just don't think it'll probably happen, just due to those games didn't sell super well. And so I don't know what the pull would be. But I think that'd be awesome. Like an F-Zero type of racing ride or something like that would be awesome. Like I'd be completely down for that. Fort Misery Gaming says Chris Pratt is an awful Mario. He doesn't really bug me as Mario. I mean, I don't think he's the best choice you could have had, but he doesn't really, at least to me, it never really took away from it, like during the movie. But
I think any point of just hearing Mario talk in just regular voice English is going to be just kind of off-putting, no matter who you put in there, because we always hear him yippee yahoo, his Italian sound effects. So I hear him just speak regularly. He's always just going to be kind of strange.
Which is also the issue with you have the Zelda movie, because Link really doesn't talk. He's gonna talk in this movie, I'm sure, but hopefully he's like a man of few words. Was the hope there. We have Gobble 9358 with a super sticker. Thank you very much. It's G Gobble. Pardon me, G Gobble. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'm excited for it. I'm very curious as to the theme park tie-ins and all that stuff. I mean, I just think when you're talking about Nintendo and the theme parks, I just think it's the beginning of what they'll do. I think it's going to be absolutely massive. And I'm not going to be surprised one bit if it ends up having a bigger impact than the Wizarding Worlds even did, just in terms of what they'll do in the next 10 years with it.
Right. Now, with the Legend of Zelda live action movie coming out, right? And if we get a Hyrule land, right, area for Legend of Zelda, are they going to make the aesthetics of it more video gamey like Super Nintendo World is right now, or are they going to make it look more like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, more realistic?
I really hope they go more Lord of the Rings. I think for Mario, I think for Donkey Kong, I think for a lot of these Nintendo franchises, that look is perfect. But you can't apply the same aesthetic to all of it. Zelda is not that thing. I think you need a big, crazy, epic scale and more realism. I don't know. That's just me, but what do you think, Jared? I mean, do you think they can go cartoony with it? I don't know. It feels weird to me.
I think they'll go cartoony because of what Super Nintendo World is, and also Sony is making that movie, so they're not going to have any stuff that looks a lot like Sony's, if I were to guess. And I think you would, from everything I've heard, I think it'll just be probably you have different styles of different Zelda games where you pick a game like Ocarina of Time or something where you kind of stick it in there. That's my guess is what they would probably do, just because it already is the video game-ness of that land. And I think they'll probably lean into that, but I don't know. I mean, the Sony making the movie has always kind of like, I don't know how much they'll take from that, given that they don't have a vested interest in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Now, OG. So I want to ask you because you were gone. I asked Jared though. So you know how in theme parks we always talk about how right now it's kind of like the IP land stuff, right? And my
Right.
worry with that is when you dedicate a bunch of land to one IP. You know, I mean, it's cool, right? We all want to kind of be in these big fantastical worlds of that IP. At the same
Right.
time, you're taking up a lot of space, right, for like one IP. So with this movie being, Mario Galaxy, would it be better to would it be better to have like a galactic area for Nintendo? Have Super Mario Galaxy, have Metroid, F-Zero, and Star Fox all in this kind of galactic space themed area for Nintendo?
That's interesting. Well, I wouldn't mind them playing with ideas like that because I think you box yourself in if you try to always connect like I wouldn't mind them maybe putting another Mario area in another park. And maybe or a Nintendo area in another park. And that Nintendo area is like what you were saying, Ebba, where it's more space stuff. Like so it's like Nintendo Spaceland or whatever, right? And it's like like you were saying, Metroid, Star Fox, Mario Galaxy. That would be pretty sick, dude. I hope Universal plays with concepts like that. Because I don't know, like putting this, like if you were to make an attraction on this movie,
Yeah.
like is it overkill to put it in the Mario Land right now, or should you put it in like another park and kind of spread that out? Because they've done it with Wizarding World, like all the Harry Potter stuff isn't in one park.
Yeah, I personally think they'll probably just take that Wizarding World concept. I think it would be like you were saying, would they put another Mario area though? I think that would be the question of like Mario Galaxy area or different versions of the game. Would they do that, or would they just use different Nintendo properties? That'll be, because I do think you're going to see it going to other parks. I'm just very curious as to what that'll be. But I do remember hearing the Zelda stuff. Originally, they were looking at Islands of Adventure, but the worry was that it wasn't enough of like a draw on its own to pull people over. So tucking it into Super Nintendo World kind of makes sense to do that. It becomes part of the greater offering of what that is. And you look at Zelda's all over that gift shop too. So, and they have 7 acres to play with. So, I mean, that's a decent amount of space. You can do a Zelda area if you're going to do it here.
My only hope is that while I know that Mario and Zelda are super like Nintendo's top hitting franchises, and I know, Jared, I know you just kind of mentioned that the other games kind of don't really hit the high numbers that these two IPs do. I would love to see these, Nintendo come back out with these other franchises, right? Because then you can do a cross synergy between in park stuff. If you come out with cool movies, like, dude, I talked to Seymour about this. I would love to see like either a Illumination style like this or a anime style version of like a Star Fox show or movie.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
I think that'd be sick.
I would be all for it. I just don't know where Nintendo's like how risk averse are they? Are they just going to stick to, like, I could see Nintendo being like, here's our top sellers. This is just what we're doing, and not take, because like if you did a Star Fox, like it's going to appeal to a lot of like guys our age and things, but I just don't know, like younger kids don't know Star Fox.
Yeah,
and I think that would be the issue they would have there. But if it ends up being a successful show or a movie, that's a different conversation. But I feel like it would have to follow something like that before they would be, or like the game sells really well. Yeah. But I think going off of your safe bets is, I get it if that's what they want to do. Because I think you would definitely need Zelda before you even started talking about Star Fox. Like once you get your big hitters there, then you can maybe start having those conversations about like, do we take a chance on a multi-themed land? Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't, like, I could just see from a theme park and like business standpoint, like why you would do those things. At least,
right? Yeah, and here's the thing too: when it comes to IOA, because I know it's basically things, based on a book, right? Let's just say they scrap that whole general idea. Which honestly, I mean, the normies probably don't even realize that's what it is anyway. But you could do like Nintendo Island and do all kinds of crazy stuff in there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could do Mario Galaxy, you can do Metroid. You can do, I mean, technically you can even put Pokemon in there if you wanted to. I mean, you could do a whole kinds of stuff. That would be kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm interested to kind of play in that idea, in that sandbox of like having.
I would love it.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential, and I mean, Nintendo's just going to keep making games, and see what I mean. I would love that one ride system. I looked at that and I was like, it looks for Back to the Future, but man, for a Mario Kart ride, that'd have been so cool to do it.
Oh,
that
dude.
Way.
Oh, Yoshi's Island. Can you imagine that, dude?
Yoshi's Island would be good. Yeah, Yoshi's Island would work. There's a ton of stuff they can do, but I think you're looking at the next ones being Zelda. Then you're looking at Pokemon, and then after that, that's where I'm kind of curious. Is like, do they take it into like the studio side, or they just where do they put these things? But there's a lot of potential they can do, undoubtedly. But no, you guys, anything you just want to add about Mario movie or theme park stuff?
No, I think the Nintendo. I mean, in general, I think Nintendo is like just the gift that keeps on giving. It's going to be. I mean, there's so much that Universal can pull from this and add to their parks. It's insane. I mean, the Yoshi Island stuff, I never even considered that, Natasha. That's brilliant for the kid. Actually, Yoshi's Island would be actually a cool little land for the kid park in Texas.
Yeah.
That if they did something with that, I think, if they did a Nintendo area in there, that would make a lot of sense. Or like this baby Mario stuff too.
I have one thing to say about this movie. I was talking to our good friend Mr. Seymour Duck about it. I really hope Yoshi does not talk.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I don't want him to be talking. I just need him to make his Yoshi sounds, and that's it. Like,
I agree. I do agree with that.
But here's the thing. I don't think he will, because like you said, Jared, Nintendo has a big hand in this, and they're going to want to respect the lore, so to speak.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to go too crazy with it. I really don't. But we'll see.
I tend to agree there. Robert Colton says that they will build Zelda and Luigi's Mansion before any other Nintendo properties. I mean, I agree. I think
that's true.
And what's interesting is apparently internally Zelda has won out over Luigi's Mansion, at least in the time being. But that doesn't mean you won't see Luigi's Mansion, which I do think that a lot of people would like to see that. So there's a ton of stuff they can do. I'm very excited for that.
Well, Jared, I mean, it's so cool because like with Universal, right? They're on the up and up. Nintendo is, and when I say they're on the up and up, I mean they're spreading their wings, right? They're going out doing movies, collaborating with theme parks, right? There is so much potential and excitement behind what's happening right now with Universal.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane. With Nintendo, like I'm excited to see what this looks like in 10 years, 15 years.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, same way. Like I think the sky's the limit on the stuff they can do with all this, undoubtedly. And I'm always like, I want to know, because apparently also Universal, we didn't really get to it, but they confirmed the permit and basically said there's more attractions coming to Epic Universe. So they're already teasing multiple things. So I don't know. I've heard Zelda is up higher on the list, so I don't know if they're going to do probably Ministry of Magic and maybe also announce or end up doing an expansion to Super Nintendo World. But I think they're going to do some. I think they're going to be pretty aggressive, and as well as they get Warner Brothers, they're just going to continue to be insanely aggressive. But But what's about 11:15 here, and we've been going for like 2.5 hours, which seems like it's been 30 minutes. So I won't keep this gentleman any longer. But before we go, I just want to remind everybody there are some new shirts up in the CTM apparel shop. Got some Christmas releases. So we got a Grimald, Stardust Racing Club, Spaceship Earth. We have a Magic Kingdom and Epic Universe Christmas shirt. So if you want to go check these out, you can go to ctmapparelco.com, or you can actually check it out. It's connected to the channel here, and go check out the shop there. But there is a Black Friday going on right now. So use the code Black Friday, you get 25% off of everything in the shop for the end of the month. So instead of just waiting till Thanksgiving, I figured I'd just do it now. So if you order $49 or more, you also get free shipping. So you get some good savings there. And the shirts we design them in-house, we print them in-house, so we don't use third-party printers. So they're very high quality, they last you a long time. And so finally got about 5 new shirt releases, and going to do some more there. But yeah, I like the Spaceship Earth one because I kind of like the retro vibe shirts, like Stardust Racing. I don't know. I like stuff like that, kind of the age look. But you can go check that out, ctmapparelco.com, or the shop that's connected to the channel here. But just want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining. And before we go, Orange Grove 55, first off, yet again, congrats on 10K. That's a big accomplishment there. And where can everybody find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. 10K is, I never thought when I started I would ever hit 10K, and it's been crazy. And these guys and Webba and Jared and Jay and everybody, Seymour, everybody in our OG55 family, I love you guys. And we're friends. It's crazy. We literally talk about this stuff, nerd out about this stuff like off camera. like literally the conversations we're having now, we're having in the group text, right? It's crazy. But I love these guys. We have a great community here, both at OG55 and over here at Capture the Magic. So I just want to thank everybody for all the support over the years. Appreciate you so much. But if you're watching this on Capture the Magic, you can catch me on YouTube, Orange Grove 55. You can also catch me on Instagram, Orange Grove 55.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Mr. Webba, thank you for being here. I think it's first time on the channel. We'll have you back more often, especially talking about video game stuff, because we can nerd out on this stuff, and we'll do a retro stream one of these days. But where can everybody find you? And thank you for being here.
Absolutely, Jared. Thank you so much for having me on with you. It's awesome. First time on here with you and OG55. It was great. And congrats to the OG55 on the 10K. That is awesome. That is
Thank you.
Fantastic. So yeah, you can find me on all social media platforms at Mr. Webba 91. You can also find me on Orange Grove 55.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, everybody in the chat, thank you very much for hanging out, being very active. Thank you again for Kika and Luca and G Gobble for the super chats and super stickers. Oh, we also did have a member message, I think, for you, OG. So thank you for whoever gifted me this membership. Member for 5 months over in Orange Grove 55. So thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you, and we will see you guys on the next one. Everybody take it easy. Have a good night. Have a good week.
Good evening. Tempers flared at Universal Studios tonight when the park ran out of its signature drink, butterbeer. What started as disappointment soon grew into a noisy confrontation with security and police.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. It's Christmas. Yeah. Sleigh bells ring. It's Christmas. Gift in my hand. It's Christmas. Grab a quick more Christmas. Right up the block. It's Christmas. Yeah.
Yo! Move! Back up! Back up! Oh my God! It's hitting the monorail!
Get ready to blast beyond your imagination at the all-new Epic Universe theme park.
It's the adventure of every world in one place.
Thrill through twisting coasters, journey through cosmic frontiers, and end your night under dazzling...
Buckle up, time travelers. Blast through the past, rocket to the future, and hang on tight as you chase the clock in the ultimate adventure. It's fast, it's furious, and it's only at Universal Studios Orlando. Back to the...
Hello, neighbor. Welcome to the Capture the Magic channel. I'm so glad you found your way here. I've heard that the host, Jared, is a very handsome and charming guy. And you know something? I think you'll enjoy listening to him a whole lot.